Sixers as Tyrese Maxey hit a logo three to put the game into overtime. The Sixers win 112-106, taking the series 3-2. The Cavs beat the Magic 104-103, 3-2 there. No Giannis, no problem. They beat the Pacers 115-92 to save. They force a game 6.
How good you want to be? From play one to the last play, we fighting. Today's about opportunity and character. We got a chance to come out here and play football. It's a blessing. Hey, every season is full of defining moments. Let's make this day a defining moment for us in our quest. Let's go, baby.
This is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star with Rob Thompson and the managing editor of Blogging the Boys, RJ Ochoa. Now, here are the guys.
They gather around. There's a whole bunch to talk about here on the Morning Huddle. He is RJ Ochoa, Natalie attired in his Houston Astros blue. I'm Rob Thompson. I have new shoes on, and we are happily together for the Morning Huddle on a May Day, May the 1st, 2024. Lots to talk about, as always. First of all, good morning, sir. How are you today?
I'm doing excellent, Rob. It's great to be with you. I hope that your day has.
How many steps do you have in today? How many steps you got already?
I can check if you give me a
I figured you could. I'm at 978. How are you doing?
I'm nowhere near that. I am at 156.
All right. Well, we'll keep track of that throughout the day. I'm a slave to my watch and my steps.
Wow.
I have a goal of 13,000 steps a day.
Are you a slave for you? Do you know what that is?
I would die for you. A Prince song? No, I don't know.
No, I'm a slave for you. The number 4 letter U is a Britney Spears song.
Oh, I'm glad I didn't know that.
Are you well, you might be familiar with the Britney snake era when she had the snake around her shoulders. I'm talking about. That was a really.
I'm not allowed to speak of such things. Yes, I do recall that. She was. I found out she was drugged out of her mind.
A lot of people did that for Halloween, dressed up, with a snake around themselves.
Oh, I did. Well, I'd already been doing it.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
She copied my ideas. But.
I figured that might have been right up your alley. So that it was that music video. I'm a slave for you.
So there you have it. But we digress. A great night of basketball. Both games, lots and lots of fun. How much of the Cleveland Orlando series have you seen?
I don't know that it's actually happening.
I think we're just getting scores, right? They're just simming this.
It's actually fan fiction, is what I've been told. You know what I mean? And they're just it's a focus group. It's like I didn't envision talking about I'm a slave for you or this in the first 5 minutes. You're familiar with the Twilight series, the novels?
Yeah, I was a Teen Wolf dude.
I believe that Teen Wolf's a different thing, but I
Teen
believe
Wolf
that those
dude.
begin.
I couldn't remember his name.
Taylor Lautner. And I think he was Jacob in the novels. But anyway, I believe that those started as a series of fan fiction.
Yeah, they did. I remember that. Yeah. So this is kind of it. It's not actually happening.
Exactly. Cavs Magic is the twilight of the NBA playoffs.
But it did occur, and evidently the Cavaliers won, so we've been told. So they'll sim the series and continue it on. We'll talk a lot about it. Zeke, who will be adorned in number 21. We found out yesterday. Arrived on the Star with great fanfare and discussion. We're going to hear a lot from Zeke. Try to figure out, while he ain't the answer, what could be the answer. There's still time to fix the running back problem, we think. Maybe. What could be done. There's a great article at Blogging the Boys I wanted to talk about, RJ. You might have seen it.
I definitely saw it.
That's what I'm saying. You might have seen it word for word. You might have been able to read it backwards. But I don't know if I completely agree with the premise, but I do think it's a worthy conversation of all is not lost, though the clock is ticking. Zeke is here. Can they fix this running back issue that seems to be hovering over them? All the rookies got their numbers, which is always a fun day. Did you ever have to angle for a number? It's
no.
good. Once you get your number, you're kind of stuck unless you didn't get the number you wanted.
I've never had to fight for a number.
I always wanted number 8, which was not an often used basketball number. So it was always one that was pretty easy to find. Problem was, number 8s were always in a jersey size a little bit smaller than what I wanted to wear. So I was always running around in a schmedium. And back in my day, We were already wearing little stuff. This was back when we were running around in the bag of marble shorts, the nutters.
Mm-hmm.
And you didn't want a little jersey on top of that. But I digress. That's twice I've digressed in the first segment.
That's a lot of digressing that's happening around here.
I know. Have you ever heard of the band Interpol? Are we giving away these tickets?
Who hasn't heard of Interpol? I feel
Let
like
me
you'd
look
have to
up
be
real
living
quick.
under a rock.
Really? So you've heard of them? I know that they're going to be available to us at some point during the next week. I also have Heart and Cheap Trick tickets that are going off this evening. So a last minute smash and grab for that. And Country Wayne, who I have now started following on YouTube. I subscribe to his channel. Funny guy. He's coming, and we amongst us and the Blitz, we also have Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. So with these four things, yet another reason to listen all day, every day, as we are apt to say around here. Dr. Jason Garrett's going to be here at 8:45. We're going to discuss coach's rehab time with patella tendon. Because that's going to kind of matter come Saturday. Is their coach going to be ready?
Yeah, I'm very curious to understand just what you can and can't do, where you can and can't sit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Look, coaches get injured too. You know what I mean? Like,
not really.
They do.
I've seen coaches on the sidelines in crutches. I've seen them on the little scooters. I've seen them post knee replacement where they just never get up; they just sit down. I've seen them with those weird back pillows I've seen. I've never seen a dude come directly from post patella tendon staple surgery to go coach a basketball game. I just can't imagine how you're going to be able to do this.
Something I want to understand is, it's going to be difficult enough, obviously, for him to show up on Saturday, like you've said.
Just getting there,
but they clinched the series on Sunday night. Is that correct?
So.
And I mean, it kind of worked out for them that they swept the Suns. Like, imagine if this had been game 2. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just curious, like, what's the quickest you could have ever possibly turned this whole thing around?
I agree.
I'm very fascinated.
And interesting.
So our NBA picks as we closed yesterday, we both took the Knicks. That was wrong. You took the Cavs, and I took the Magic. And you took the Pacers, and you were wrong. I'm ignoring the Cavs Magic thing. You were wrong. I was right.
Boy.
My Bucks.
That was, you forget what it's like when you don't have your 2 stars and you play a style of basketball that the other team's just not prepared for. You're just doing things different and weird. They did that. And that's what happens when you play against a team who doesn't have their normal guys. So other guys are stepping up and doing things, but you're not ready for Bobby Portis to go get 29. And you have a trampoline effect of, I'm safe. If we lose tonight, it's 3 to make 1. If I lose tonight on the road, I think we'll survive and go home. So I turned the game off at the end of the third quarter. I saw 20 points. I was like, this game is over. Go ahead and pack your bags. It's done. And it was. So I was wrong. But maybe, just maybe, I rebounded after an appendix Goldfinger. Maybe this is enough to kind of light the fire for both the Sixers and the Bucks. Do you see either one of these guys making a run, making a comeback?
If I have to play the I've seen this movie before card, I think the team most likely to mount a comeback is the Sixers. They're the most movie style comeback.
Yeah, I completely agree.
But if I have to bet on one, it's probably Milwaukee.
Because they're so close to the edge. I don't think Milwaukee can stave off defeat 3 consecutive times.
No, but I think that they can. So I believe in New York more than I do Indiana. That's why, if I had to bet on one happening, it's Milwaukee. You know what I'm saying? Because I think the Pacers are the weakest team. And if we presume, I think Dame's probably back for game 5 or game 6. Whether or not, if Dame and Giannis are back, it's over for the Pacers, and they'll lament that they couldn't close it out when neither of them were on the floor.
Will both teams lament the let things slip away kind of night? One went early with the Pacers, one went awfully late with the Knicks. Maxi with a logo 3. When we come back, we might need to redefine exactly what a logo 3 really means. Because if the logo's as big as what we saw last night, can we call it something else? It was huge, but it wasn't that. That was a big win on both sides of the coin. We'll talk about all we saw last night. The NBA continues in fine form. How it affects you is what's important. We'll do that next. This is the Morning Huddle, and you're on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1.
If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
For the ones who work hard to ensure their crew can always go the extra mile, and the ones who get in early so everyone can go home on time, there's Grainger, offering professional-grade supplies backed by product experts so you can quickly and easily find what you need. Plus, you can count on access to a committed team ready to go the extra mile for
Planet
you.
of the
Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
When was the last time you went to the dentist? Need a new dentist? Hi, Jason Minix here. Go see my dentist at Smile Structure Dentistry and Braces. Smile Structure can handle all your dentistry needs, from general dentistry to oral surgery, orthodontics for the kids, or Invisalign for adults. Mention this ad, get a free exam and x-rays. Veteran owned with 5 San Antonio area locations. Learn more and book an appointment online at smilestructure.com. That's smilestructure.com.
Hi everybody, Scott Innes here. For 25 years, I've been voicing lovable cartoon dogs like Scooby-Doo, Astro. Hey, I love puppies and dogs. And now I get to help pets that need a voice to save their lives. That's where the Puppy Food Bank comes in. The Puppy Food Bank helps pet rescue organizations so they can feed puppies. For just $11 a month, you can save a pet's life. Go to puppyfoodbank.org now and donate, and they'll send you a nice gift. Puppy Food Bank is proudly supported by Thomas J. Henry.
Moments like making my kids my famous meatballs mean a lot to me. But after being diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer, or MBC, which is breast cancer that has spread to other parts of the body, they mean even more. I take Ibrance, palbociclib.
Ibrance 125 milligram tablets with an aromatase inhibitor is for adults with HR-positive, HER2-negative MBC as the first hormonal-based therapy. Ask your doctor about Ibrance and visit Ibrance.com. Ibrance may cause low white blood cell counts that may lead to serious infections. Ibrance may cause severe inflammation of the lungs. Both of these can lead to death. Tell your doctor right away if you have new or worsening symptoms, including trouble breathing, shortness of breath, cough, or chest pain. Before taking Ibrance, tell your doctor if you have fever, chills, or other signs of infection, liver or kidney problems, are or plan to become pregnant, or are breastfeeding. Common side effects include low red blood cell and low platelet counts, infections, tiredness, nausea, sore mouth, abnormalities in liver blood tests, diarrhea, hair thinning or loss, vomiting, rash, and loss of appetite.
Buyers Barricades is proud to provide traffic control, rental, and sales for work zones and events in the San Antonio area and beyond. Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. Learn more online at buyersbarricades.com. That's buyersbarricades.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6759. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6759. That's 800-575-6759. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Folks, quality is a huge deal. It's what I look for when I recommend something to my listeners. It means you can depend on it. Quality means it won't let you down. It's something you can be proud of. Well, that's the definition of a Connecticut water softener. With other water softener brands, you just never know. Maybe they work half the time or they're just plain junk. A Connecticut water softener is up to 80% more efficient than competing models and will be the last water softener you'll ever own. That's because you're buying quality, and it's backed up with an outstanding 10-year warranty, too. If you're ready to enjoy all the benefits that come with quality, bring home a Connecticut water softener. Call the team at Connecticut at 656-PURE or online at ConnecticutSA.com. That's 656-PURE or ConnecticutSA.com, and tell them Dave Ramsey sent you.
The last water softener you'll ever own. Call 656-PURE Connecticut.
Howdy, San Antonio. This is Andrew Monaco, and you're locked on the home of the Aggies, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Give it to Maxey. Maxey races around a half-court screen. Deep three straight away. He smoked it. Holy cow. It's 97-97. 5, 4. Brunson with 3, with 2 to the left wing, to the left baseline. Floater deflected. Overtime.
Kevin Harlan floater deflected, game over. A prime opportunity in New York as the Knicks fall to the 76ers. Welcome back to the Morning Huddle. That is RJ Ochoa. I'm Rob Thompson. We're glad you're here on a hump day, May Day kind of a thing. I hope you got a good night's rest after what was a good evening of basketball. Good morning, RJ.
Top of the morning to you, Robert.
All right, so first, and you brought it up, and I think this is such a worthy discussion. We need to redefine what Logo 3 is. And I don't want to take away at all of what Maxey did, but RJ, you were right. Let's it was spectacular, but Logo implies 35 feet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the logo in question was the words New York, right? With like stretched really far wide horizontally. And he was on the end. Yeah. In respect, like kudos, you know what I mean? Like a very difficult shot. I'm not at all implying that it was easy, but when you tell me logo shot, I mean my mind goes one place. That's all I'm saying. Like, and it was extraordinarily impressive. It was extraordinarily clutch. You deserve all the props in the world. I just take a little bit of exception towards calling it a logo shot.
Tyrese Maxey is separating himself. He's becoming, that was an extraordinary night that he had on the road in New York. Just absolutely spectacular basketball. And, Joel Embiid, first of all, the Sixers won. And he is not 100%. But it was the ugliest and most ineffective or ineffectual triple-double I've ever seen. I heard this morning he had a triple-double. I didn't know that. I didn't realize it. He didn't felt like he had that kind of imprint on the game. So he joined the likes of our guys, Duncan and Robinson and Ralph Sampson. Get the triple-double in overtime in a playoff game.
I mean, it did feel like a little bit of like the hair on your chinny chin chin kind of thing. Like 19 points, 16 boards,
which was impressive.
10 assists. So you're barely getting there. And again, not to take I'm definitely going to take a little bit away here. Like I'm not taking anything away from Maxey, but you're telling me you had a triple double when you shot 37% from the field. It's just something feels kind of strange about that.
It really didn't jive. And I felt like when the game was over, like if Joel would have done more, they might have actually won the game. Because I didn't feel like Maxey was the culprit, but both were spectacular. And think about what they did. I mean, that was a spectacular win in the Lions' den, man.
He had the worst shooting percentage of anybody on the team.
Yeah, it was an ineffectual, turnover-ridden triple-double. But they won in New York. We've also watched Milwaukee win at home. I've watched Knick fan collapsed last night. Come on, guys. Knick fan, get a pair. You lost a game at home. Yeah, it sucks. But it ain't. Oh, my gosh. Listen to Knick fan all day long. And the it slipped away, dude. It did. But you think that it was over, that legit the series was done the way Nick fan hit the road last night, pouring out of the Garden. It was a tough loss, and that's one of those things that when we were talking yesterday about teams that we truly could believe that could win it all, that's the reason why I'm not a big Nick on the Nick bandwagon. It's fun, but there's just not enough there. And I get why they kind of start to begin to panic, but don't be panicking against the Sixers. No, if anybody could do it, it feels like they would be, but it is still 70-30 against them coming back. Let's be real here.
So I saw Nick Wright tweet out that it felt like the Knicks improperly won game 2, and it kind of feels like the Sixers improperly won last night. So, the force has obviously been, reestablished and been properly balanced.
The basketball gods have even
right, exactly. Like we're all good now. I don't know that I've been this excited for a really, I won't say inconsequential because it's extraordinarily consequential, but I mean, it's game 6 of a first round series. You know what I'm saying? But I am very excited for game 6 tomorrow night between these two teams. Like, there is some bad blood, isn't the right term, but there is some tension brewing here. Like, you can feel how desperate both teams are here. This is really exciting. And I kind of get being down if you're a Knicks fan. Like, you had a chance. You had them in your building. You were right there. I mean, and for all you know, I mean, we both agree that Embiid was kind of like, meh, last
he
night.
was meh. That's exactly how to describe him.
He might not be meh tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Like, last night was the night. Like, tomorrow could be the, like, Embiid God mode game. You know what I mean? And then you're screwed. And then you go to game 7 where anything can happen. So I get feeling a little cursed if you're a Knicks fan.
I'd just like to remind them that they are the 2 seed.
I know, but they're partly the 2 seed because Embiid was hurt all year. We've talked about this.
I know, but I still would like to remind Nick fan
because Giannis was hurt. Like, they're kind of a fraud 2 seed.
See, that's why they're all walking around like the world is over, because of folks like you. The asterisk
folks like me saying real things.
You're a fraud too.
If Embiid and Giannis had been healthy all year, do you believe the Knicks are the 2 seed?
Absolutely not. You're absolutely right. I mean, we have pointed out what is obvious, that this is a fraud team that's been riding the wave of a phenomenal performance, and he did it yet again. Brunson is just a revelation, and I wish we were loving what Brunson is doing this year, like we first started loving the way Steph Curry was doing stuff, 8 years ago? When Steph had that first playoff run where, it's not the depth of shooting. He's not hitting logo threes like Steph was doing back then. But Brunson is every bit as exciting. He's doing everything as much as Steph Curry changed the game for the little guy 10 years ago. Jalen Brunson should be getting the same, but he's doing it differently. He's doing it in a way where, hey, man, if you're a little guard, bulk up, get strong.
He is incredible. He had over 50 minutes last night, 40 points. I mean, it's a shame that it wasn't enough. It really is. He was just kind of a one-man show last night.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, Josh Hart chipped in 18, but I mean, like, looking at this, like, you got to do more. It does. I don't know how you don't feel like it's an opportunity lost.
It's an extraordinary opportunity lost. It is. But you still got a couple more chances. And the way Nick fan ended last night, what I saw in the Twitterverse, which is an extreme version, it's the bizarro world, but that is a reflection. And the way I've heard the overnights, Nick fan think, well, that was it. It's over.
But I think somebody's going to mount a 3-1 comeback. So, like, somebody is on some level. I mean, I don't know if I think it's going to be them, but okay, so you've got the people who can do this are the Knicks. I'm sorry, the Sixers, the Bucks, I guess the Heat technically, and that's it. It's not going to be the Heat.
No, it's not going to be the Heat.
And then there's several brewing in the NHL. That's a different topic
and a different game.
Yeah, but it's still going on. No,
but the momentum is different in hockey. It's just a very
okay. So if you had to say, so sticking just to the NBA, obviously. I think we will see one of these comebacks.
Really? And you think it's most likely going to be this one, and not the?
No. I think it's presuming that Giannis and Dame return. If Giannis and Dame are both back for Game 6, I will bet that the Bucks finish the comeback. But if they're not, then I reserve the right to change, and I may come back.
No, that is not an extraordinary or extreme statement. I'll tell you why. Because what Milwaukee found last night, Doc Rivers coached his ass off last night. I'll be the first one to say he is a guy that probably needs to let somebody else come do his job. But what he showed last night was vet savvy, man. He turned the game on its ear. They did things different. He got that team to play defense far more than the Pacers ever thought that they could do it, and got Bobby Portis waving off. Did you see Portis twice during that night waving off the kick pass to turn and go into the paint? Bobby Portis got 29 last night. Doc Rivers coached his ass off. Congratulations, coach. That was a sum of all of your years of experience in one night.
Do you agree that if Giannis and Dame are both back, that this is an incredibly riveting game?
See, here's the problem. What the Bucks did last night was not Buck basketball. Doc Rivers. So if they go back to Buck basketball, the Pacers understood that game. You know what I mean?
You broke their brains last night.
Yeah, that happens a lot, though. That's when you see their star down, you do things different, and just kind of throws off your game. But it's going to be hard for both these teams. I'm not saying one's got a better chance than the other. I really don't. I think both of them are done for. It's just a matter of time.
This series has been kind of boring.
Mm-hmm.
It's a slightly elevated version of the Orlando-Cleveland series, but some of it is that it's just been blowout after blowout after blowout. Like the Game 3 was an overtime 3-point winner for the Pacers. But other than that, it's been like, even last night, and like, imagine, finding out if you're a Pacers fan that you're going to lose by, 22 points. With the Milwaukee being down Giannis and Dame, because Bobby Portis is going to go off.
In hindsight, though, you go, well, it makes sense. You're on the road. You're up 3-1. You're going to go home at worst case with a 3-2. You got 3 chances to win a game. You get a little down, a little behind. Coaches, Carlisle's pulling guys out. I mean, there's another shot. So in hindsight, we should have seen, and I think we continue. Well, not anymore now that this has happened. But when it's a 3-1 lead on the road, a team that's on the road with a 3-1 lead, it's pretty easy to give up the ghost. And the Pacers did, man. They realized about midway through the second quarter, it's not going to happen tonight, fellas, unless these guys go ice cold. And we got random dudes hitting shots tonight.
Well, you said Milwaukee. We should have seen. I did predict the Bucks to win.
You did. You absolutely did. And I didn't see it coming. I didn't think they could play the defense that they did play. And now you ask the question, why the hell haven't we seen that elsewhere? And is it because of Dame and Giannis that lockdown defense that we saw last night isn't there?
I don't know. That's a little too existential right now. I'm not ready to go that far.
Too early in the morning for such things. How about a homecoming? The prodigal son returns, and he gets to put on the coat of many colors that wears 21. He spoke at the Star yesterday. Let's hear what Dak had to say. All the other rookies got their numbers. We'll see what that matters in the grand scheme of life, because sometimes you get numbers where you ain't making the team. We'll continue talking the NFL next. We're glad you're with us this morning on a Hump Day edition. Check him real close on your YouTube feed on whatever device you might have. You'll see RJ Ochoa. I am Rob Thompson, and notice newly redecorated in the corner of fun. All the fun toys are back with an addition, a couple of new. We've cycled through some new bobbleheads. Some that are quite exciting. Maybe we'll explain them later. Hey, let's talk NFL next. We're glad you're here. This is the Morning Huddle, and you're on 94.1. We call it San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up on the Blitz, it is a big day. Will McClay with the Dallas Cowboys will join us. We're going to talk draft. We'll talk future. We'll talk all things Dallas Cowboys with Will McClay when he joins us. Not only that, it's Wednesdays with Wade. Wade Phillips, the head coach of the San Antonio Brahmas. He'll join us at 4:35.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Have you gotten your hands on Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds at HEB yet? Southern Recipe small batch offers big, bold flavors like hot honey, spicy dill, and sea salt and cracked black pepper. Bonus, you're going to love the low-carb, high-protein crunch. Turn snack time from ordinary to extraordinary with flavorful pork rinds. Pick up your favorite flavors of Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds at HEB today.
The Big Blind is celebrating their official grand opening May 8th through the 12th with an epic weekend, starting with a 12K tournament on Wednesday the 8th, 10K tournaments Thursday, Friday, and Saturday with $500 high hands every half hour and a 5K Texas free roll on Sunday, plus daily blackjack tournaments. Plan now to celebrate the Big Blind grand opening next week. The Big Blind, down from the roof of at 281 in Redland Road. Learn more online at thebigblindsa.com.
George gets justice. If you've been injured, get George, because George gets justice. With over 100 years of combined experience and a relentless dedication to your case, the attorneys at George Salinas Injury Lawyers will fight for what's right. If you've been injured and it's not your fault, get George and get the compensation you deserve. Call George Salinas Injury Lawyers today at 210-225-0909 or visit getgeorge.com. George gets justice. Getgeorge.com.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go. Shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
What's the room again?
1240, down at the end.
Ooh, what's that? Sammy, don't touch that. That's someone's old food.
Here we are. Do you have the key?
You have both of ours.
Oh, right. Not working.
Rub it.
Come on.
Try flipping it over.
Seriously. Why can't we go inside? I'm tired.
Give me yours.
You have mine.
All right.
What?
Please, if you
Dad,
could just...
why aren't you opening the door?
Can everyone just shut the...
Don't go there. Go on a real vacation. Go RVing. Learn more at GoRVing.com.
When your business needs an electrician, for over 35 years, the family-owned Hill Electric has served San Antonio. Powered by relationships with dedicated estimators who analyze the issue, research cost-effective solutions, and clearly communicate the options without charging you a dime. A proven process that allows you to continue focusing on your unique purpose. Call Hill Electric at 210-404-9074. That's 404-9074. Or hill-electric.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-5407. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-5407. That's 800-575-5407. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
This is the absolute worst time of year to be dealing with joint pain. You can't do the outdoor stuff that you love to do, like golfing, hiking, biking, jogging, playing on the beach. Hey, it's James Pledger with San Antonio Sports Star. Listen, don't go through the summer missing out on life. Call QC Kinetics now and find out how they can use biologics from your own body to give new life to your achy joints, like your knees, hips, back, shoulders. QC's regenerative medicine protocols can restore and repair that damaged tissue with no surgery, no steroids, no drugs, and best of all, no downtime. This is the future of medicine. Tens of thousands of QC Kinetics patients around the country are living their best life this year because they made the call. QC medical professionals are under the direction of Dr. Mitchell Shinecup, who is an orthopedic surgeon who became the future pioneer in regenerative medicine. He knew there had to be a better way. So call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation. 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318. 210-571-0318. Locations in Hollywood Park, Westover Hills, and New Braunfels.
Let's go! Hi, it's Jason Minix. You're listening to the home of the Cowboys, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Hey, it's the Morning Huddle. Hey, we're working today. Glad you're with us. Hijinks here in the studio. Welcome aboard. That's RJ. I'm Rob. It is the Morning Huddle here on a Wednesday. He's back in every sense of the word. I was so happy to see him. Even more so given all that went on yesterday over the last couple of days. I feel like this poor guy just got a job. He's coming home. He wants to help. He's not here to cause any trouble. He just wanted to come back home and play with his boys. And everybody's looking at him like, you ain't what we wanted. We wanted more than you. We were glad you were gone. And now you're back.
I don't think anybody is angry at Zeke, to be clear. Okay. What it feels like to me is this team had taken a positive step, one of growth, one of maturity, one of improving self-worth, right?
Mm-hmm.
And fell back on the wagon, a little bit here. You couldn't help but do the thing. Like you've lost a lot of weight. You know what I mean? Like it's a bit unnerving when you've gone through a weight loss journey and then, you kind of develop the routine, like every morning step on the scale, on the scale. And then you step on, you're like, I picked up 3.
I don't know how I did that. And it was so easy. It was so easy. I didn't realize it was so easy to add 4 pounds.
Oh my gosh. Wow. This is unsettling.
But am I right though? Do you get the sense that we're mad at Zeke?
No,
I did. I really have felt like everybody's just mad at him.
I've never felt or harbored any resentment against Zeke specifically. It's not Zeke's fault that the Cowboys took him 4th overall and spent their most premium draft asset in a generation on him. It's not Zeke's fault that they doubled down on that with the contract extension. Some people would say it's his fault that he held on. I don't blame him for that at all. The guy was looking after himself.
Absolutely.
And he should have. Good for him. And it worked out from a financial standpoint, obviously. And I don't fault him for wanting to return to the Cowboys. I mean, whatsoever. And I am individually happy for Zeke. I saw his mom tweet that she was unpacked. So he's going to wear 21. She was like, I'm going to unpack all my 21 jerseys. I mean, like, it is a cool story. There's no doubt about that. Think about this. A year ago, and Stephen Jones thought this was like, the smartest thing anyone had ever done. They cut Zeke. They moved on. They purged. And then they traded for, their 5th round picks for these veterans. And they went out and they were all really cunning and everything.
I can tell you this, we'll be rolling up our sleeves and going to work.
Cunning is not a term I would apply to
what they did last year was like moderately intelligent. But he said this year in the pre-draft press conference, he was like, well, we won the offseason last year. And it's like, bro, all you did was keep your left arm straight. If we're calling this a golf swing, you're not smoking this thing 350 yards down the fairway. If that's what you think.
Well, it was more than they'd done before. So, they upgraded from a C to a C plus. For them, it was a monumental leap forward.
You had gone from a C to a C plus.
Might not be the same thing.
And you got hot. You got up on your high horse. You thought, we don't have to study for the next test. We're good. You know what I mean? And now we're putting the pants back on, and those 4 pounds, wait a minute, we really liked how we had felt. We dusted off all these clothes from the deep recesses of our closet that we could wear again, but now we can't. Yeah, I mean, it's silly. I mean, it's not the silliest thing ever, but it is silly.
Well, let's hear from the guy. Let's hear from the embattled but ever loved Zeke. He first of all, he's happy to be home.
Man, it feels great to be home. I definitely miss everyone here. Definitely miss the building. Definitely miss, Cowboys Nation. So it's excited to be back and get this thing going.
A guy who knows the circus. I mean, there is something to be said about a guy that could walk in the door and go like, I know where the water coolers are. I know exactly where I need to be, because he hadn't been gone that long. And, he talked about his time in New England. He remembers it a little bit differently than the numbers tell us, but he talks about what he saw, what he had there.
Just showing that I can still be a starter in this league. I can still, play football at a high level. And so, I'm excited to, continue that here.
He could still be a starter, but he's totally just coming in for a little role, little small goal line.
Of course no one comes in and say, well, I'm excited to be here, third string. I'm here to coach. I'm here to work some guys out and make sure that, I'm a good backstop in case there's any trouble at all, but I'll be holding a clipboard and helping out wherever I can. No, I'm here to play. And of course, I'm not saying, I want to again qualify what I'm saying about Zeke. I do believe that right now, Jerry believes in particular that Zeke is going to be the starting running back. What I'm telling you is he won't be.
I think that you're extending an enormous benefit of the doubt to the way that they operate.
I am, but I have in my heart of hearts, in my deepest recesses, I just believe that as I've been told that football is a meritocracy. And at the end of the day, there'll be somebody that takes his carries. Maybe not the RB1 number, but carries.
Meritocracy.
You're not going to lead the team in carries. He's not.
Given that literally never happened in the Zeke era prior to it ending the first time, I would just disagree with you.
You feel free, and we will revisit this.
In 2022, Tony Pollard was the significantly better player than Zeke Elliott. Did he ever outtouch him? Did he ever, seriously threaten his job?
No, he was starring in his role.
But he was the better back.
You can throw numbers at me. You're right. Everything you're telling me should
throw reality at you.
No, you're right. But I will tell you that there's something in my gut.
We saw Zeke. Okay, well that means nothing because the last time we saw him, there was a superior player at the position.
You're right.
They did not play more,
and they believe it. I just don't.
What changed between then and now?
He is not the same back that he was, and he sounds a little diluted there. Film don't lie. It just isn't going to work out. We will revisit this. This is 2 years later. These are two new coaches. I mean, there's new guys here. I'm just telling you, I do not believe.
31 carries.
You're right. Everything you're saying tells everybody that he will be the starter, and I believe they're acting like it will be. But I believe at age and after practice, he will not lead this team in carries for a lot of reasons.
Based on all fact and evidence to this point, he will. And that is a troubling thing. And when Tony Pollard was at his absolute peak, he got 193 carries to Zeke's 231. Zeke was averaging 3.8 yards per carry. Tony Pollard was averaging 5.2 yards per carry, and they still prioritized Zeke
because
in the
Zeke could do things that Pollard never could.
I want to live in the world that Pete lives in his comment here in the Brigade Bar. Pete says motivation is a factor. He will be highly motivated to be back. He will work harder after being away.
Yeah, he will, but that's not going to be enough.
I would love to believe that that's true. But the reality of this situation is this is just going to be, a thing. And I believe, based again on purely facts and data, that he is going to, because there's nobody equivalent to 2022 Tony Pollard on this
team.
Team.
Not yet.
Like even when there was a legitimate person to hand more work to, they didn't. So when there's not that person, there's no way Rico Dowdle is going to outtouch Zeke Elliott in 2024 for this team. And so again, I'm happy for Zeke. I'm happy for Dak.
Listen to you. You're mad at Zeke. You're mad at him for showing back up. You're disappointed.
Me down. Like live your life, man. It's good luck.
We've established a championship program.
We've had these conversations about other players, and we see them come in times of need, and it's not the answer. Zeke isn't the answer. Whether they realize it now, they will eventually. And maybe it'll be after 6 games, maybe it'll be later. But it's not there. We all saw it.
Then why bring him in at all?
Because it's a last gasp attempt. I mean,
you're going in circles here because you're saying there's no way
they brought in a backup running back for $3 million. And if his name was anything else, we would be carrying on with our day. That's what they did.
Here's the thing. They, being the Joneses of this all, who love Zeke, wanted him around. cool. It's your team. It's your money. Do what you want to do. If you think that their motivations aren't going to play a huge factor in who's going to get the lion's share of the work here, then you're not tethered to reality, because he is. I mean, all of the verbiage from everyone involved, Zeke himself has been that he's going to be the starter. So your gut can tell you whatever it wants. And I think you would agree. If I came back from the future, right? If I got in the DeLorean and came back and said, Rob, I know what your gut said back in May, but Zeke did lead the team in carries. If I could prove that to you, would you not agree that that would be a colossal failure?
Well, I agree it's a colossal failure.
Wow.
But I'm telling you, the fact will remain when we get to the end of the season next year. He will not have led him in carries. It just won't. There's no way a back of his age and the style that he wants to run, you're not going to lead him in carries. Now, you might lead him in third down carries and carries inside the 5 and that kind of stuff, carries with 2 yards or less to gain. Yeah, I'll give you those numbers. But overall, it's just not going to be there. And when you cross that line as a running back, you've crossed it. There's no bringing it back. There's no working out and finding
him back at all.
Because good franchises take care of their players, and they got him for nothing. Nothing.
That's not nothing. And again, they could have spent something on someone else to be even better than this. So, like, you can't.
Unlike you, have a heart, and I want to see Zeke retire as a Cowboy. And he happened to be the first guy we got early in free agency or late in free agency, but he ain't going to be the only guy. There are going to be other guys get cut, going to be showing up and running the ball. Somebody going to show up and be a running back that is going to usurp those carries.
I'm happy that you really believe that. I really am, but it's incorrect. I'm sorry to tell you.
Well, it's easy to say incorrect in the future. We'll revisit this in October. We will see in October. Well, I've already pegged it a little thing because I think that there's going to be something happen in between. Nothing significant, and it could be as small as an injury from an old running back. It's not going to leave him in carries.
There is no way that anybody currently on the roster eats into his production. And there's no way. Like, name me the free. You just said that if they had brought in another free
I had
agent,
never heard of Tony Pollard. We drafted him, but he turned out all right.
No free agent running back that is of the quality that could come in and legitimately eat into his hypothetical production. If there were, that would have been the player that they signed. I mean, everyone has told me in my Twitter mentions over the last few days now, Zeke was the best guy on the market. Okay, if that's true, then how can what Rob is saying be true as well? That somebody else is going to come in and take away all the work that is supposedly not going to be going to Zeke. He's going to lead this team in carries by a wide margin, buddy.
Okay. We'll revisit in October, but I think we can all be deluded today, much like Zeke feels like. And they did talk about him. He talked about his role, what he sees coming in the room.
Just continually to help those guys grow their knowledge about the game, so they can anticipate and be ready, when different situations come about.
Short and quick to the point.
I can't tell everybody that I'm going to lead the team in carries because Rob thinks it's not going to happen.
I want him to be successful. Don't get me wrong. I would love the idea if he led him in carries and ran for 1,200 yards, which I think would be ridiculously out of the question. But I would love it.
That's actually impossible.
That's what I'm saying. I would love the fact that he was hugely successful, and you are absolutely right. I just don't think it's going to occur. And I'm not saying it because he's going to be, I don't want him to be great. I just don't think that he's physically capable of doing what we think he's going to try to do. Hey, coming back.
Not going to stop him from trying.
Yeah. Or, if it was up to him, he would. I just don't think it'll be up to him. Coming back, Ohtani and his money, we find out it went through some casinos. The path is starting to open up. Let's talk a little bit of baseball. And there was a weird delay last night in Toronto. Lots of stuff away from the field and the court. We're talking about it. This is the Morning Huddle, and you're on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1.
Over the past decade, the Roo Pub has proven to be the best place to watch games with those 3 massive 170-inch screens and TVs all around. All the games, all the UFC fights, and when you show up at the Roo Pub, show up hungry. The food is fantastic. Open daily at 11. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and certainly the best place to watch a game. The Roo Pub is next to the Angry Elephant and in the same plaza as the Big Blind there at 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roo.
Don't let pain keep you from doing the things you love. I'm Dr. Jason Garrett from Arasti. At Arasti, we fix pain fast. Whether you've been living with chronic and nagging pain for years, or if you've recently experienced an injury, our goal is to get you out of pain as quickly as possible. Arasti is completely natural and non-invasive. Plus, Arasti accepts most insurance plans. There's a location near you. Visit arasti.com. That's AIRROSTI.com. Arasti, we fix pain fast.
As a roofer, spring means the start of my busy season, which means I've got to get organized. With help from Beacon, I can save time with Beacon Pro Plus and 24/7 access to live pricing, delivery tracking, order history, and more. Plus, this spring, I can earn $1,000 and the chance to win a $25,000 backyard renovation just by buying my Certainty shingles online with Beacon. No purchase necessary. Now that's what I call a spring cleanup. Visit BECN.com for official rules and to start earning entries.
Some people just know the more you protect, the more you save with Allstate, because they know insurance math. Like if you protect your home and auto, Allstate can save you up to 25%. So it's like losing money if you don't bundle. Save more when you protect more. Bundle home and auto with Allstate today.
Bundled savings vary by state and are not available in every state. Saving up to 25% is the countrywide average of the maximum available savings off the home policy. Allstate Vehicle and Property Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Don't sweat a swing and miss thanks to insurance tokens from BetMGM. Add an MLB wager to your bet slip and activate your bet insurance token. If your bet with the token applied doesn't hit, you'll get your stake back in bonus bets up to a specified maximum amount. That's another chance to step up to the plate and bet on the action out there on the diamond. Go to your BetMGM account today to claim your bet insurance token and get your stake back in bonus bets if your MLB wager using the token doesn't win. Only at BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks and official sports betting partner of MLB. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to gamble responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 years of age or older. This U.S. promotional offer is not available in D.C., Mississippi, New York, Nevada, Ontario, or Puerto Rico. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. For New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. For Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. For Massachusetts, call 1-800-327-5050. For Iowa, call 1-800-BETS-OFF. For Puerto Rico, call 1-800-981-0023. For West Virginia, visit www.1800gambler.net. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards are non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 7 days. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Experience the Kentucky Derby weekend at Retama Park in Selma, Texas on May 3rd and 4th. Join us for the biggest pre-derby party on Friday and the main event on Saturday. Enjoy drinks, delicious food, and thrilling races. Don't miss this chance to celebrate the Derby tradition with us.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, U.S. Tax Shield can help you take back control. Accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Our team of tax attorneys can stop collections and get you protected. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the BBB, so call 800-494-6139. U.S. Tax Shield, 800-494-6139.
Evan Cohen here from Unsportsmanlike on ESPN Radio for True Green. Are you ready to elevate your lawn game without breaking the bank? True Green has been the trusted choice for over 2 million homeowners for over 50 years. Visit TrueGreen.com and discover the easiest and affordable way to achieve a pro-level lawn guaranteed. Plus, enjoy True Green's verified price matching, ensuring you get the best lawn for the best price. Visit TrueGreen.com and transform your lawn effortlessly. That's TrueGreen.com. Your dream lawn is just around the corner.
If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online at mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
Good morning, everybody. Joe Reinagle here. Coming up on the Blitz, big day. Will McClay will join us. We'll talk about the draft. We'll talk about the Cowboys' future. Everything Dallas Cowboys we'll talk about with Will McClay. Also, it is Wednesdays with Wade. Wade Phillips, the head coach of the San Antonio Brahmas. He will join us as well. Hey, Rob. Hey, RJ. Got any questions for Will McClay? Let me know.
Show off. Yeah, Will McClay, the brain trust of the talent acquisition crew there with the Dallas Cowboys, joining the Blitz today. Also, Wade Phillips, he of the Brahmas, Wednesdays with Wade, and that you can watch him live. He even has a Zoom come in. So yeah, it's going to be fun today. They're going to be out at Retama on Friday.
Good times.
Yeah, we're getting ready for the Kentucky Derby. We'll have an expert on Friday talking. Getting ready. I have no idea. These guys, these horses are only 3 years old.
They're already faster than us.
I hardly even know these things. So we'll get you ready for the inaugural beginning of summer, the first Saturday in May. The what is it? The fastest minute in sports or something like that.
Yeah. Well, this Saturday also is Star Wars time, baby. May the 4th be with you.
Really? Do you ceremonially watch those?
No, but it is cool. A cool thing to say. May the 4th be with you.
So, but you don't watch them.
Not every year. No.
Then
There's
you're
too
not
much
allowed
work,
to say
dude.
it. Please
When was the last time
retract
you
your
rewatched
statement.
them?
I watch if I'm turning channels, which now you really can't do because you're streaming. You can't just flip through and be surprised.
Okay.
Which was those were good days when you just stumble on
Okay.
something like, oh look. But if I find Star Wars, especially New Hope and Empire Strikes Back, I'm in it for an hour.
Okay.
I'll go until the next commercial break where I'm kind of like, okay,
time to get off the couch.
I'm tired of commercials. I will. There's very few things I'll sit through a commercial break or two, and and Star Wars is one of those movies. Oh,
wow.
Yeah, Clone Wars was terrible. All those prequels, terrible.
They're all special in their own way. I'll say that.
Yeah. I mean, they all had their moments, but you go back and
have their
rewatch
place.
the last one that they made before they decided, you know what, we've gone too far. Was that Clone Wars, where it
Clone
had,
Wars
it
is
had just gone
is a show that they've done. So,
way out there. It was
awful. It's a lot of work now to keep up with the whole Star Wars universe.
I teased it. I don't want to leave it. Otani, it turns out his lying interpreter, wink wink, his guy that was taking the bets was actually placing them down in Vegas at the Resorts World.
What a shot.
What happens in Vegas doesn't necessarily stay in Vegas now, does it? I still don't buy a word of this story. You can pin it on him. You can say all you want. But we're carrying on. We're paying no attention to that. But what we are paying attention to is the modern world of sports that do actually matter to us. And coming back to Spurs and the NBA, what a phenomenal night of hoops last night. I asked you this question as you go to break. How much would you give for a Joel Embiid? I get the sense if you wanted to pry him away, you could get it. But do you actually want it? The search for the next with Wemby continues. Is there anybody in the playoffs we might trade for? How about a Maxey? What's he worth? We're talking Spurs and the NBA next. We're glad you're here. That's RJ. I'm Rob. Together we huddle up every morning. Hold on tight, go carbo load, and we shall return triumphant here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
This is the Morning Huddle with Rob and RJ. Morning 6 to 10, KTFM Floresville, and everywhere at sasportstar.com.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
Emory, North Carolina. Good morning. You're on the air.
Yeah, good morning. I got a 2018 Cadillac XT5.
And is it a Lux or a premium Lux or regular?
It's just a regular XT5. It's black, very, very clean. Never had kids in it or anything.
I thought you were describing Gigi for a minute, but then the kids thing.
The John Clay Wolf Show.
Catch the John Clay Wolf Show Saturdays from 9 a.m. to noon right here on San Antonio Sports Star.
Gomez Law Firm has been taking care of the people of San Antonio for almost 50 years, the leader in personal injury law. Jose, tell us a little bit more about what you do.
We do ride-sharing cases, 18-wheeler cases. Obviously, we've done those for very many years. Work injuries. We will be happy to take a look at and see if we can help.
If you have been injured in an accident or hit by a company vehicle, then you need to visit joegomezlaw.com.
We've been around for almost 50 years, and we're not going anywhere.
Call the Gomez Law Firm at 736-4040.
When was the last time you went to the dentist? Need a new dentist? Hi, Jason Minix here. Go see my dentist at Smile Structure Dentistry and Braces. Smile Structure can handle all your dentistry needs, from general dentistry to oral surgery, orthodontics for the kids, or Invisalign for adults. Mention this ad, get a free exam and x-rays. Veteran owned with 5 San Antonio area locations. Learn more and book an appointment online at smilestructure.com. That's smilestructure.com.
Come to Generations Federal Credit Union for a great competitive rate on a home equity loan. Consolidate debt, pay off credit cards, renovate your home, and more. With flexible terms, fixed rates, and minimal closing costs. All with easy applications and fast local decisions. Apply today at Generations Federal Credit Union. Rates and terms subject to approval and may change without notice. Full terms and conditions at mygenfcu.org/homeequity. Equal housing lender.
The IRS finally caught up with Louie.
I hadn't paid my taxes in 8 years. I owed the IRS a lot of money.
Louie was in deep trouble.
We're going to take your house, put a lien on your bank account, garnish your pay. They don't care. They're going to take your paycheck.
Louie found out about Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima Tax, they help me. They calm me down. They make me feel comfortable, and I trust them.
Louie has a lot to be thankful for.
I don't owe the IRS anymore, and I'm able to live a comfortable life, a lot better life. It was because of Optima Tax.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation. Take it from Louie.
If you owe the IRS, don't go it alone. Give Optima Tax a call. They can help you.
Call 800-970-3199. That's 800-970-3199. 800-970-3199.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Let our team keep your home running comfortable and worry-free. Call on Mr. Electric for all your electrical needs. 210-248-2026. Or get a hold of us online at MrElectric.com and enter your zip code.
License number TECL 34221.
Lowe's knows pros need the right tools for every job. That's why we sell the largest in-store selection of Klein tools anywhere. Find new items launching exclusively at Lowe's, like the self-leveling laser level for just $159.98. Plus, shop the Connect socket set for just $49.98. Get Klein tools in-store and online today, because Lowe's knows tools. Lowe's knows pros.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
94.1 FM. San Antonio Sports Center.
The Mecca did not hold its magic. The Knicks could not hold off the 76ers. A Tyrese Maxey late three tied the game and went to overtime, and the Sixers won 112-106. They bring the series 3-2 as they head back home to Philly. The Cavs held off the Magic 104-103. No Giannis, no Dame, no problem. The Bucks beat the Pacers 115-92 to save off elimination and force the Game 6.
Sports Center is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas Authority in Barricade Rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
Wembanyama three. Goes behind the back here. Oh, little sidestep and a jam by Wembanyama.
This is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star with Rob Thompson and the managing editor of Blogging the Boys, RJ Ochoa. Now, here's Rob and RJ.
Hey, gather around. There's a bunch to get in today. It's the Morning Huddle here on San Antonio Sports Star. Thanks for joining us this morning. Join us in all the appropriate ways if available to you. If you're driving, stay listening and don't mind them brake lights. We'll get you where you're going. If you're elsewhere and can use your device, do that. You can do it on a phone all the way up to a tablet and a laptop. We are on YouTube. We are the Morning Huddle. This is Talking Silver and Black on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Look closely. He is stretching and he is comfortable. He is RJ Ochoa, a champion of the Houston Astros, who, by the way, demolished last night. Had themselves a fine evening of big bad baseball. Won their third straight, 10-9 over the Guardians. Speaking of, Jose Abreu, the option first baseman Abreu down to the camp, work on his timing.
Yeah, feel bad for Jose and respect how he seems to have taken this, but this was a very, very, very necessary thing.
You got the yips.
Yeah, the Astros have won 3 in a row for the first time this season. Shout out to Victor Carantini, who had the walk-off home run in the bottom of the 10th inning last night. So, yeah, watch out. Don't let us get hot.
Oh, the odds are still good. They're all right. It's still
You're
early.
all right.
You're
all right.
The Rangers are imminent to collapse. That's if we're going to stand by our standard storylines. Well, by the way, if we're talking all things San Antonio, congratulations, San Antonio Missions. Well, no, not necessarily. They did go down 5-3 to the Travelers last night. They continue tonight at 6:35. Spurs and Silver and Black. We do it every day at 7:00. Thanks for finding us on the regular. Subscribe to this, please. There's valuable nuggets and knowledge to be pulled out of it. The discussion as we head into it, and I can't help but apply to the playoffs as we watch the 76ers are at a crossroads. I mean, they're probably the most likely to come back if they could, if everything works out. But, and last night kind of proved, I think, where the Sixers are going, that this is a Tyrese Maxey team. But the fans, I think the Daryl Morey, the general manager, the Joel Embiid champion, will be let go imminently. And I think that Joel Embiid will become an expendable property in the near future. Maybe not immediate, but I'd say in the next year, if you wanted yourself a Joel Embiid, they probably could be talked into it. And in your mind, given that I do believe, and you can quote me on this, I'm the first one to say this one. He's the Dak Prescott of the NBA.
I think that's silly in a lot of ways, but
I think I'm playing it in a favorable way. I'm trying to be nice.
I don't think that Embiid will ever play anywhere else.
You don't think so?
Well, he's a unique superstar in that he represents the process, right? Like you can't get rid of Embiid. It's almost you almost have to be irrational about keeping him because he represents
a failed
quite
process.
Literally everything.
Well, I mean,
how can you say it failed? It's still processing.
Well, at what point after 10 years is the process still processing and the process of failure?
If the process is still in the middle of itself, it's not complete.
He has at every issue when it been statistically amazing. Last night, a triple near quadruple double. And it ended in another dude having to win it. It was an ineffectual. And when it comes down to him to do something, he's never lived up. 10 years in. And a lot of it's injury. A lot of it's the surroundings, the coaches, the players, but everything's come and gone. And there is one consistent thing. You're here and we can't win the big one. Feels like Dak Prescott to me.
Do you think that the Sixers win last night if Joel Embiid is not there? No, of course not.
No, I'm not. I'm trying to apply something. A very, very good player who now ask Sixer fan who they love more, who they would, if given either or, who would be the either.
I think that you can have both. You don't have why do you have to have one?
I'm just saying in this modern day, if the tandem doesn't work, we're starting to see people bail on processes that you can just go. He's got a year or two left on his contract. He can't stay healthy into the playoffs. When he does stay healthy, he's pretty damn good, but we don't even win all the time when he's playing great.
They are coming off of a big win that he was a big part of. Why are you mad at him?
Because I know how this is going to end. I don't think they're going to beat the Knicks, and they're going to be a lot of soul searching in Philadelphia as they get rid of their general manager, which I think is probably imminent. And they figure out where they're going to go next. And to do that, they're going to have to, figure out how they're going to spend this $60 million that it's going to cost to keep him around. And I don't think they're going to want to spend it on a guy who can't play but about 60 games a year and disappears, or at least his teams seem to disappear in the playoffs. Again, feels very Dak Prescott.
I think that you are reaching right now. Today is not the day to kick on Joel Embiid.
I'm not picking on him.
I think you are. Like, I mean, why can't it be like, what an awesome win for the Sixers that he and Tyrese Maxey helped make happen? If he is Dak Prescott, this is the equivalent. They had a massive playoff win that he was a massive part of.
And then, yes, but can they do it again? Can they get through?
Well,
and basketball wins don't matter. It's series that matter.
We didn't think they could do it last night. We both picked the Knicks, and they both proved it. They proved us wrong.
I'm not saying absolute negatives here, but I think Embiid is taking a lot of abuse, and the 76ers are going to look at this and go, we thought that
Then
we
why
had
is-
this tandem, and we don't,
Why is Tyrese Maxey immune to this conversation?
because he's
If-
young
why
and the
is it
next.
just- Well, but I
I'm
mean,
just
why-
being truthful with
No, but
76er
if they're
fans.
failing, and if the win doesn't matter, if it's just a series win, then I don't know why we're only blaming Embiid and only praising Maxey. We can
Manny,
do both
you're
with
right,
both.
but Tony Romo could say Dez caught it. I mean, there's a million excuses. Manny M on the Brigade Bar. Ben Simmons cost the Sixers a champion. Well, I don't know if it's a championship, but at least another series if he dunks the ball. It's hard to argue. But again, it's about circumstance. It's about coaches, it's about other players. I'm not saying everything that has happened to the Sixers during this entirety of the process is his fault. I'm just saying sometimes after a period of time, you just watch it fail for a variety of reasons, and you are the only common denominator, which he is very rapidly becoming. You go, well, maybe
He's
it's
also
you.
the only common denominator in them being really competitive year in and year out.
Well, there is that other side of the debate, but there's really competitive and there's the absolute championship. And see, we're sounding very much like Cowboy fan when we're talking about the Sixers and Embiid. There's the Dak lovers who go, what are you talking about? The guy's been phenomenal. And then the other side of the fence is, what do you mean? He hadn't won a big one. Well, I think we're talking about the Sixers and Embiid and this ongoing process that has involved changing of coaches and big-time stars being traded for, coming and going, big-time stars letting you down, surprises and good draft picks. Feels very Cowboy-esque to me.
What were the Sixers like pre-Embiid?
Awful.
What was your
God awful.
What's your greatest memory of the Sixers? Losing in the finals with AI?
No, it's them winning with the doctor back in '82.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
See?
I mean, well, I'm not saying that. I'm not.
But
trying
no,
to,
you're
like,
right.
act like
AI
that.
in the 4 games, the one that he
Right.
managed to win by himself was probably the
I'm not
signing
at all
moment since then. You're right.
acting like those moments didn't exist. But in terms of like,
You're right.
I don't want to use the term modern, but this century, obviously, the
that
most
hurts.
notable thing that the Sixers accomplished was AI and Andre Iguodala losing the dunk contest in
True.
Iraq. That's it. Like, that's it.
I hope that Iggy understands his place in 76ers history
Right, exactly.
because that was huge.
So again, like I'm not saying like, oh, just because they're better than they had been in 30 years,
Mhm.
40 years, or whatever, crown them or anything like that. But I mean, I sometimes you just don't win a title, and I'm not happy about that. I mean, that sucks. But man, he has been so good. He has over delivered. I think individually he has, and I'm not ready to throw Joel Embiid out if I'm a Sixers fan.
Yeah,
I'm ready to be mad at everybody else.
I
mean,
was
I'm ready to be,
angling.
like,
I was angling for. I wouldn't mind having him as a Spur. I wasn't trying to shoot him
I
down.
see.
I was
Wait.
trying to head toward. If you got 3 number ones and a dude, pick a guy. And Billy goes, "Oh, we'd love to have your 3 number ones and pick a guy. Which would you send the 3 number ones and pick a guy for? Tyrese Maxey or Joel Embiid?"
I mean, given that I'm the team that has Wemby, I think I'd rather have Tyrese Maxey. But that's not because I don't love Embiid.
No, I
That's just
get you.
because of the construction of my team.
This is
So-
literally 6 of one and half a dozen of another. I mean,
If I'm starting a new team, I want Embiid, to be clear.
apart from the injury issue, I think you're probably along. If you had, a level of guarantee that he would remain healthy, I think a lot of guys would agree with you. We watched him hang 70 on the Defensive Player of the Year, at least the de facto version of the Defensive Player of the Year. Yeah, the guy is worth every penny. But the problem is, can he play the minutes? Can he survive an entire year? And would you offer that kind of value for a dude that you never really know, given foot and Bell's palsy now, which you hate to even bring up, but it's the thing. And we had some feet issues, some knee issues. He's not durable by any stretch. And that might be another reason why he might be indeed gettable when you look at that.
But again, I think if you want Embiid, like if this is the conversation you're having, right? Like, hey, let's have some coffee and let's talk about trading for Joel Embiid.
60
right?
million a year. 60 is where you start.
But beyond that, you have to pay a tax for taking the process piece away from the process. that may not be fair.
Like a karmic.
Well, I mean, I don't mean a karmic price. I mean an actual price. You know what I'm saying? It's like the Patriots trading away Tom Brady. I know that didn't happen. But you know what I'm saying? Like he is woven into who they are in
so
a different
much so.
way.
You're right. I see exactly where you're going, and you're right.
He represents something to them, and no pun intended, their process, and that no other team has with a player. And I'm not saying that makes him greater or better than any other player, but that makes paying for him very unique. Right? Like this is like you're going to the antique shop, and it's like, well, this has been here like, you know, for 50 years. Like you're gonna have to pay me something really special to get me to part with this. So,
and I was trying to bring you down the
sense,
road with me, but you've convinced me that the Sixers would be crazy to even consider this. But I do think that as they move along, that they are going to have to make a decision, and it's really going to be between the two dudes. Like, whose team is this? You can't have two captains.
That I agree with. That's a complicated.
And I think Maxi's going to end up winning that, and maybe Embiid will just give it to him.
I think he will, because Maxi's going to be available more.
Mm-hmm.
That's the reality. I mean,
he's good.
There came a point when Tim was no longer the best Spur, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's just time. But he was still the main Spur, right? You know what I mean? And like that again, no pun intended, process will happen here. But even at that moment in time, even when he was no longer the best Spur, if somebody had said, "Hey, what do you want for Tim?" there would have been an enormous price because he's Tim. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and thankfully that never happened. But that would be the same like cause and effect with Joel.
I think
in the Sixers.
Exactly how
so,
in their best case scenario. Now you're going to have to be delicate on the coaching strings here, because you do have the young buck Maxey who had the cojones, the sack to pull up. Now it wasn't a logo 3, and it was a good 28 feet. I'm not taking anything away from what he did. And he did that knowing full well that the NBA's MVP was standing down on the paint.
And
I know they needed a 3, but I'm just saying that this was a dude that had the sack to go, you know what? I know who you are, but I know who I am.
I think that if the Sixers lose tomorrow, okay, then we're going to be here on Friday laughing at them. And as somebody who
they're going to lose tomorrow.
Well, I know, but as somebody who supports the Cowboys, I understand how unfair it is to have other teams skate by and be held accountable for things and be the only team that's held accountable. Right now, we're not at all criticizing the Knicks. We had no problem coming out and here, kudos, Knicks, great job. We're so proud of you. This is so awesome. This is so great. Oh, look at Brunson going off and DiVincenzo and Josh Hart. You guys are Villanova. And, you know, we have no problem celebrating them. Today, there's not a word, not a peep about how they collapsed and how they couldn't lock this down. You had game 5. You had a 3-1 lead at home at the Garden. That was the most.
And that got 40 from Jalen. Still could.
And you got 40 from your superstar. That was the most raucous Garden crowd. What?
It was fun.
Since AI was playing for the Sixers, right? Like if we want to go back all the way to then. And you couldn't do it then against a superstar who we kind of like are doubting right now here in Joel Embiid. Like that's a big time failure. Like we're over here hypothesizing about the Sixers' failure, and we're already, you know,
counting them down.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we're already penalizing them, and you know, like again, just kicking on them.
Is it because of what we're saying, or are we just reacting to the typical Knick fan who's saying the same thing? Knick fans going, "Oh my God, it's over. We're going to lose this series." And I understand you let one slip away, but you have owned these guys for the majority of this series, and you're panicking. You got 2 more games to get one. It took a miracle for them to get there, and a collapse on your end.
I just don't know why the Knicks deserve some serious criticism for not. You're right.
And
They
Knicks
still
fan
have two
too.
chances to close this out. There's no question about that. If we look at odds for Game 6, who do you think's favored? Just Game 6
at home. The Sixers are
3.5 point favorites. What do you think the series line is?
Ooh. Because I wonder what Vegas is thinking here. I'm going to stay with the Knicks.
The Knicks are still favorites.
Yeah.
They're minus 390.
390.
But for what it's worth, the only teams who are stronger favorites to win their respective series, the Pacers, are minus 900 to win. Wow.
I bet that changes today.
Well, I mean, at the moment, at least, Vegas
Yeah,
doesn't
if you're a
believe that
Pacers
Giannis and
fan,
Dame are coming back. And then the Cavs are stronger favorites to win their series against the Magic. They also have 2 opportunities to close it out.
There's so much that I wanted to get into in this segment. We're not going to have enough time. When we get back on the Spurs bandwagon today, we're going to hear from Brian Windhorse. And I've joked. We've joked a couple of times, RJ, that Windhorse came down to San Antonio. And it's like the Manchurian Candidate. He left our city a different dude. This guy loves San Antonio. And at every opportunity, talks up Wimby, talks up San Antonio. And he did it again yesterday. We're going to get into that in the 8 o'clock hour. But before we go, as far as the Spurs go, the draft coming up, one of the guys that I was a big fan of, Rob Dillingham, the Kentucky kid.
Your boy. Well, before you fell in love with Zach Edey.
Well, yeah. I've had many dalliances, but he evidently really wants to be a Spur. Which is,
that's fair right now. That's a popular thing. Who's going to be the one that gets the crown? Who's going to be the chosen prince? Who's going to marry into the royal family is really the question.
Well, if it was Dillingham, I don't think a lot of people would be upset. He's a bucket, though he's not a shooter. I'm down with a bucket, but I'm really kind of either eyeing some glass help or some spot up 3 help, one or the other. But Dillingham would be a fine acquisition, along with what the other top 10 pick would be. Coming back, Zeke is here, and boy, did we hear a lot from him. He arrived at the Star, and to great fanfare, and I hope not too much anger. He ain't what they wanted, but he's a guy we know. We'll look at Zeke, how they might be able to fix the running back spot. The players got their numbers, and all things Cowboys and NFL coming next. So do the appropriate stuff and make sure you're here. We're 94.1, and this is San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1 FM.
Train heating and cooling systems are tested, retested, engineered, and re-engineered to keep up with you. We run together. Visit traininfo.com to find your local independent train dealer. Traininfo.com. It's hard to stop a train.
Don't pay retail for your diamond engagement ring or gift. Come to CleanOrigin.com, founded by a leading family in the diamond industry for more than a century. We're experts in lab-grown, the only diamond jewelers who give you a 100-day, no questions asked return on your purchase. Head to CleanOrigin.com or one of our retail stores and mention code Radio10 for 10% off your purchase. That's CleanOrigin.com, code Radio10.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
My name is John. I could not lose the weight I needed to. The Institute for Functional Health Wellness program was the answer. It included a great deal of testing, supplements, and weekly face-to-face doctor visits. I finally had the accountability I needed. I am now 50 pounds lighter. I no longer have pain in my elbow, back, and hips. I have more energy and just feel and look so much better.
Call for your complimentary consultation, 210-468-1891. I'm Dr. Torres at the Institute for Functional Health.
What's the room again?
1240, down at the end.
Ooh, what's that? Sammy, don't touch that. That's someone's old food.
Here we are. Do you have the key?
You have both of ours.
Oh, right. Not working.
Rub it. Come on. Try flipping it over.
Seriously. Why can't we go inside?
I'm
tired.
Give me yours.
You have mine.
All right.
What?
Please, if you
Dad,
could just...
why aren't you opening the door?
Can everyone just shut the...
Don't go there. Go on a real vacation. Go RVing.
Learn more at GoRVing.com.
Progressive knows finding your new home was a dream come true. You wanted a colonial with high ceilings, hardwood floors, and a peaceful neighborhood. And you found it. Now, every Saturday at 6 a.m., you get to wake to the sound of your neighbor's leaf blower. Progressive can't save you from your noisy neighbors, but we can save you money when you bundle your home and auto with us. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-230-2777. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-230-2777. That's 800-230-2777 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-230-2777. 800-230-2777.
San Antonio Sports Star. You're riding with Rob and RJ. This is the Morning Huddle.
Hey, I've got some Heart and Cheap Trick tickets to give away. They're playing tonight. They're going to be at the Frost Bank Center. If you want to go, this is special for our morning crew. 656-3776, 656-ESPN to you and me. Say howdy to Edwin first, the first person Edwin talks to. Going to go check out a pretty good show for those of an age. Cheap Trick and Heart. I still have some Planet of the Apes Fandango codes to give away. They're premiering the new show on next week, the 10th. I tried to watch the last. Not tried. I act like I didn't like it, but I put on the HBO is kind of featuring it right now on Max, the most recent of the Planet of the Apes movies. It is ridiculous what they can do with CGI.
Yeah,
I mean, you can
still,
well, I know you can still, but this is the latest and greatest iteration of a movie that's done entirely with both interactive CGI and real people all at the same time. And I know the new movie will be even better, but that version of what was it, like 2017? So we've had a few years for them to improve on the technology, but even then, that Moore's law is in play.
Wow. Well,
I was just, CGI and I'm not sure that the Heat and not the Heat, the Magic and the Cavaliers are actually really playing. We're just seeing scores and some CGI'd highlights to kind of jive.
It's AI. That's all it is.
First guy to talk to Edwin. Who won the tickets, Edwin? He's talking to him right now. So Zeke is home, and we talked about it last hour. I just don't want him to be treated kind of like the troops coming back from Nam. Like, it's not their fault. It's not Zeke's fault. He was a free agent running back that took a $3 million deal to come home. Now, everybody's painting future and past on him, and maybe, and rightfully so at some point. But, that being said, whatever the Cowboys plan to do with it is nice to see him. I just can't get over the fact that watching him smile, he's happy to be here. We're happy to see him. He is a little bright light. What has been a relatively bleak offseason? If nothing else, he's a nice guy. He's fun to be around.
I'm happy for Zeke. I really am.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like he is personally very happy with his situation. But this is still a weird decision from the Cowboys. There's no way to spin that. You can't, no matter what you try to do.
Now, we've been talking about him for how long? I mean, it first started getting in the wind that he could come back, about a month? I mean, was it Slater's tweet? But that was Cook. She thought it was going to be Dalvin Cook. But I mean, we've been kind of playing with that idea, not since the end of the season, but there was a moment when we went, wait a minute, this could happen. Well, how long do you think that's been? A month? 3 weeks?
I mean,
no, what I'm trying to get to is, I mean, this has obviously been planned. This is not like, oh, he's free, let's get him right now. There was always an intent all the way around to bring this guy back. It's just a matter of how they were going to do it and at what price and at what time. And they didn't draft a running back, which you're right. They planned before the draft that Zeke would be that. Now, Zeke was asked about the timeline and how talks progressed. Feels quickly, or maybe it took a long time.
They started obviously in off season, and just kind of picked up around draft.
So, exactly what you believe, RJ. This was always the intent.
I mean, I don't know. I know that a lot of people are enjoying this, and a lot of people are feeling the vibes of it all, and the nostalgia, and wow, they're redoing the show. You know what I mean? They're remaking Dune. It's fine. I'm happy for you that you're having fun, and that something we all had already disconnected from and had let go of. They even played a highlight video for him when he returned with the Patriots last year. They just couldn't do it. I mean, Pledge brought up such a great point yesterday in the Brigade Bar. Dude, think about this. They brought Jason Witten back a year out of retirement. And that was more pathetic, right? I mean, because you're bringing him out of the television.
It's funny, I don't feel like it's so pathetic. I guess it's because they pulled him out of the booth.
That was definitely. This isn't pathetic. I mean, this is silly, but it's not pathetic. Right. That was pathetic, but like those two things happened within a 6-year stretch, like within 6 seasons. Those two different things. That's silly, dude. I mean, and I know that it tugs at our emotional heartstrings, so we want to ignore that it's silly, but it is silly that this is happening, and I feel badly because I'm happy. I don't want to squash anybody's happiness, and I'm happy for Zeke individually because this is a cool movie scene, right? Like
it should be that way. It really should be.
But there are 500 ways that would have been preferable to have gone about this.
Now, if this
no, I'm sorry, but think about the Mike Zimmer decision too. Think about
we're bringing him home too.
Instead of conducting a wide-ranging process where they interviewed all sorts of candidates and examined people. I'm not saying I have all the answers. I'm not saying I have even a single answer. But when we were at the Super Bowl in Las Vegas, you said, well, who would you interview? I would talk to Brandon Staley. I would at least see what's up with him. And, Brandon Staley sucked last year. He was so bad, whatever. Well, guess who hired him? Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan was super interested in what Brandon Staley had to offer. Kyle Shanahan isn't bringing back Frank Gore for good times or drafting his son for that matter or signing his son on undrafted free agency or Jerry Rice's son. I mean, you know what I mean? Like Kyle Shanahan's able to evaluate things objectively. But here we sit, and everybody's all pumped up.
So yesterday on Get Up, Mike Greenberg, Greeny, the ESPN perspective on the Dallas Cowboys is they move the needle. So they treat the Cowboys kind of like a daily thing, and you've got your Stephen A. opinions, and you've got everybody, but the Dallas Cowboys are a daily part of discussion. And most of the time, I think they're, near the target on what is really going on with the Cowboys. They're near it, but they're not absolutely right. They're not in it every day like we are. They're not kind of plugged in. They don't get the nuances of conversations. They don't understand that when this beat guy says something, it matters. And when this beat guy says something, it doesn't necessarily mean as much, And for those of us around that circle, we kind of understand where the real news is. But yesterday, Greeny was talking about Jerry, and he said something that I think is worthy of listening. Now, it's kind of long, but listen to Greeny describe Jerry Jones in his perception.
The topic of the list is who had the best offseason. And unless you were insistent that they fire Nick Sirianni, I think they had a great offseason.
Yeah, so do I. My favorite thing that they've done this offseason is extend their homegrown players. Devontae Smith, Landon Dickerson, Jordan Mailata, and they also gave A.J. Brown an extension. They're doing the thing that the Cowboys should do. should have done.
What the hell are the Cowboys doing, by the way? What are they waiting for? Like, what are you waiting for? I don't understand it. What are they doing? It has paralyzed their offseason. What are they waiting for? What are you waiting for? The wide receiver market to get even higher so you can pay CD Lamb even more?
Can I just tell you the best kept secret about Jerry Jones? He's really cheap. Jerry Jones is cheap. Right now, the Cowboys rank dead last, 32nd in the NFL in cash spending. They are dead last. Obviously, you have the salary cap, and then you have the cash. The Eagles rank second right now. They have an owner willing to front the cash on contracts, and that enables you to have more salary cap flexibility. Jerry Jones is unwilling to do that. What Jerry Jones is instead doing is prolonging the inevitable. They're going to have to pay 120 cents on the dollar for their own players because they're not willing to structure their contracts intelligently because he's not willing to provide that money up front.
Wow. That's something I had not thought of, and we should do a little deep dive into that.
Let's do it.
Who's first, by the way, in cash spending?
I'll pull that
You said
list
the
up.
Eagles are second.
I think that Hembo and the genius that is has been listening to the Morning Huddle and RJ Ochoa. Anybody who's been listening to our show on a regular basis, RJ's been telling you everything that they just said in a minute and 20 seconds. We've been telling you on the daily as long as we've been talking about this situation. And they finally hit the target right in the middle. Jerry's cheap. It was cheap to get him. He was thinking cheap earlier, and he's still thinking cheap. And it's cheaper to go get guys, Zimmer, get a little friendly time, a little extra, because I know you, bro. You got a job. You need to come on over. I know you, but I'll pay you less. Come on home, Zeke. We love you, but I'm going to only pay you $3 million.
Outside of the draft, there are 4 new primary people that they have brought in this offseason. Defensive coordinator Mike Zimmer, family friend.
His cell phone still has the area code in Dallas.
Eric Kendricks, Mike Zimmer's friend. Royce Freeman.
He's
okay.
Texas, yeah.
Zeke Elliott, family friend.
Jerry's cheap.
I think it's one thing to be cheap, but it's another thing to be cheap and lazy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, like to not want to do any effort. Like, okay, let me. Like, it didn't even take him long to get down to Zeke in his contact list. You know what I mean? You just scroll down, unless you had him labeled as Zeke. You know what I mean? Like, you just scroll down to the E's, and there's Zeke Elliott. I mean, okay, cool. I mean, think about, like, seriously. And I'm not trying to be like, oh, they're the worst team ever, but they make things so much harder than they have to be. Their offseason, their big moves have been to bring back Mike Zimmer to be the defensive coordinator and to bring back Ezekiel Elliott to be the running back. What evolution has happened here from a thinking standpoint?
Well, you've got to be very careful if Jerry is exposed as, the emperor has no clothes. Like, dude, you're cheap. You act big. You act huge.
I don't think they're cheap. Like, there's
cheap.
I don't think I don't know if this is the insinuation you're making, like, because sometimes when people say someone's cheap, it's that like they actually don't have the money to stand on.
No.
Right, okay, yeah.
No, he acts
they
like
just
he's
don't
willing to
spend it.
pay big time money. And look at the big time Dallas Cowboys, and everything here is big time. But I ain't paying you until I absolutely freaking have to.
He had a quote on The Fan a few years ago that gets thrown around, talking to Sean and RJ, and he said, I forget what the exact question was, but he said, you don't want to know the size of the check that I would write. It would be absurd. It would be embarrassing. It would be it's like, man, what are you talking about, dude?
And you know what? He might think I would write a huge check, but it'd be like $150,000. Man, it would hurt him. Like, oh, this would hurt. Oh, yeah, I'd write $1 million check right now. It would hurt.
Again, I'm happy for Zeke. I'm happy for the story. I'm happy for people who are happy. I'm happy that people are experiencing happiness and jubilation.
Well, back to Zeke.
But I can't tell myself logically that this is like a great thing, because I don't believe that.
If we were getting the Zeke of 2018,
we led the NFL in rushing.
That'd be a pretty nice Zeke to have. But Zeke ain't 6
years ago.
Yeah. And he's far away from what he was back then. And he was asked about his role and what has changed since he came into the league.
Honestly, just being in this league for as long as I have been, and being as comfortable I am and having as many reps as I can, now I can focus on bringing some other younger guys along and just kind of help them find their way.
As he's helping those guys come along, he's had to change himself. This is on what he's become.
I've always prided myself about being an all-around back, a back that, could not only run the football, but protect the quarterback and catch the ball at the backfield. So, I mean, I'm excited to, continue that here.
The protect the quarterback was key. He's here to do that.
I mean,
and to run the ball. Don't get me wrong, but the reason he's here is because he can still protect the quarterback.
The reason he's here is
it's
because
21
they like
AZ.
him.
Yeah,
that's
the
reason.
But the reason he will be at least moderately effective in my mind. Let me quantify that, because I do think he is still very effective at that, and I do think he's an effective out of the backfield receiver. I don't expect a lot of yak, but I do know he'll catch the ball.
He's never been a tool
No,
in their passing
but he
game,
has gotten
so.
better at it, and they used him like that in New England a couple of times. See, he can do it. So I don't think it'll be like Pollard stuff, but I don't think it's going to be an utter failure at what he's here for. But on the other side of that, I also will continue to stand on the fact that he won't lead him in carries.
My point all along here has not been that there's nothing Zeke can offer.
Right.
But my point is that the process of how we got here is so flawed and is so actually ridiculous. But we just want to sweep it under the rug because Zeke and it's cool and feed me, you know what I mean? And like we are truly, mindless squirrels that can be, just distracted in this direction. Or we're puppies, you know what I mean? We're puppies, and you can just get a bag of treats and we'll go wherever you want. We'll eat it right out of your hand, and we'll go here, we'll go there. We'll let you put us in the crate. We'll let you, put the little fence up and keep us away from the room we want to go into. We're just happy to be here. Rub our belly once or twice a day and we'll be good.
I think that's really eroding. There is the sense that maybe we'd have eaten that before, but not anymore. He's going to wear 21 because 15 is obviously taken. Before we get into the other guys' numbers, he was asked about 15 or 21 and what he's going to be wearing and why.
We still working on it.
Turns out he got number 15 was taken, and I don't know if he didn't offer any money.
I have a question.
What was the circumstance? Yeah, go ahead.
So Stephon Gilmore wore 21 last year.
It was weird, but yeah,
I don't think it was weird. I liked it. There were some people who threw this out on Twitter, and Twitter's whatever, but I don't believe this at all. But I want to know whether if you believe it like in a non-zero way, that the Cowboys did not bring Stephon Gilmore back so as to keep number 21 available.
God, no. I'm extreme, but yeah.
Like you're not willing to say there's even like a point, 0.00001% chance that there's like a kernel of truth to that.
I'm not going to fall down that hole. No, there's zero.
I'm not going to fall down that hole either. But we're down the hole where Mike Zimmer's back and Zeke is back. So
but we're not going to bring back a former All-Pro who did in fact help us because he's wearing a number that we want to take from him.
It's embarrassing that the Eagles only have one Super Bowl. Really, I mean, like that. That this is the team that is their like chief rival, and that you only have one trophy to show for it. I mean, dude, come on. What's wrong with y'all?
We're gonna when we next visit the football world, we'll actually be talking football with basketball with football guys, CJ and Micah, teaming up and playing some hoops. Micah now is a basketball all-star now that he led the all-star,
the celeb game MVP
with playing against children and women singers.
What do you have like 73 shots in that game? Like it was like, I'm coming away with this MVP one way or another.
It's kind of like, I don't even know how to. It's fine when you go do it. In fact, we want you to go be the physical specimen, but you are never allowed to brag about your acumen because of that. Now you can brag about like, hey man, in high school I was all state and whatever. You can say that, but don't ever reference your ability to go get 40 against
Dua Lipa. And
yeah,
Bieber.
Exactly. Against Ariana Grande. Yeah, I hung a 50 burger on Grande. Bring it. I'm looking for Bieber.
Yeah, I mean, do you think he ever? Because I would do this. Do you think he ever like just shortens that experience and says like, yeah, I was MVP at All-Star Weekend, like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. Like it holds up some kind of trophy, and you can't quite see Celebrity All-Star Friday Night Light Fun Party all-star and slime victim. That's kind of X'd out by the shadows.
Right.
I mean, you hold on to whatever you find important. So maybe that's enough for him. Yesterday, we had a very strange game delay in a Toronto baseball game. You're going to have to believe what we're telling you. And that's just one. Over the years, I was trying to remember some other natural
It was
game
LA
delays.
and Arizona, not Toronto.
Was it? Oh, I thought it was Toronto. It was Arizona. And the circumstances around this I found very interesting because the home team was absolutely prepared. Just absolutely prepared. They had all the equipment required. We'll talk about delays, exploding birds, and fog around the corner. We're glad you're here. That's RJ. He's stunned into silence. I'm Rob. This is the Morning Huddle, and we right back on 94.1. This is San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up on the Blitz, it is a big day. Will McClay with the Dallas Cowboys will join us. We're going to talk draft. We'll talk future. We'll talk all things Dallas Cowboys with Will McClay when he joins us. Not only that, it's Wednesdays with Wade. Wade Phillips, the head coach of the San Antonio Brahmas. He'll join us at 4:35.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Hi, my name's Jason Thompson. I've lived in San Antonio for more than 50 years. Went to grade school, high school, and graduated from law school right here. San Antonians have trusted me as their attorney after serious injury and fatality collisions since 1994. My website is alawyerforus.com. Why a lawyer for us? Well, after several years of practice, I watched as insurance companies created their own law firms solely to defend against auto claims. Today, there are very few insurance companies that do not have their own captive law firm filled with attorneys whose job is to minimize what the insurance company has to pay on an auto claim. If you or a family member is injured in a traffic collision, you will need your own attorney. Just remember alawyerforus.com. For many lawyers you see on billboards, your case will be handled by a non-lawyer or a staff lawyer. If you call me, Jason Thompson, I will be the lawyer you speak with. The initial consultation is always free. If you or a family member needs an experienced attorney, an attorney you can trust, I want you to call me, Jason Thompson. My number is 900-0400. That's 210-900-0400 or alawyerforus.com.
Joe Reinagle here. I want to tell you about something that has completely changed my life. I had vision correction surgery at Parkhurst New Vision. The results are amazing. The readers are a thing of the past. Hey, if you're like me and tired of those glasses, call Parkhurst New Vision at 210-585-2020. They offer a variety of services like vision correction surgery. So call Parkhurst New Vision, 210-585-2020, or get them online at sanantoniolasik.com.
The IRS finally caught up with Louie.
I hadn't paid my taxes in 8 years. I owe the IRS a lot of money.
Louie was in deep trouble.
We're going to take your house, put a lien on your bank account, garnish your pay. They don't care. They're going to take your paycheck.
Louie found out about Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima Tax, they help me. They calm me down. They make me feel comfortable, and I trust them.
Louie has a lot to be thankful for.
I don't owe the IRS anymore, and I'm able to live a comfortable life, a lot better life. It was because of Optima Tax.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation. Take it from Louie.
If you owe the IRS, don't go it alone. Give Optima Tax a call. They can help you.
Call 800-970. That's 800-970-3199. 800-970-3199.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Get ready for the ultimate Kentucky Derby experience at Retama Park on May 4th. Join us for a day filled with excitement and celebration. From 8:30 a.m. onwards, you can immerse yourself in the spirit of the races, culminating in the thrilling Run for the Roses at 5:50 p.m. Your package includes a complimentary mint julep, delicious heavy hors d'oeuvres, and a Kentucky Derby race day tip sheet from Big Day Wins. Don't miss out on this unforgettable event at Retama Park in Selma. Book your tickets now.
Here on San Antonio Sports Talk. That's RJ Ochoa. I'm Rob Thompson. We're glad you're with us. Have you ever been? I've never actually seen a swarm of bees like arrive and do that. Like a queen arrives, and the bees all get someplace, and they create a hive. Or I've never seen that in person.
No, only thing I've seen is the movie My Girl, that's a really traumatizing.
That'll ruin your life in bees altogether.
Yeah.
Last night that happened at a game and delayed it for like 2 hours. Right, about an hour and a half.
This was wild.
But more, I mean, that in itself, why would a bee land in the middle of a full stadium and choose the net right behind home plate to say, all right, this is where we're setting up shop? I mean, that's strange to me anyway. But the fact that they were prepared in the stadium, that they had a beekeeper on speed dial. Kids, that's a thing from the old phone, speed dial. And their contacts, they had a beekeeper. But then the beekeeper got there and he got to throw out the first pitch for successfully eliminating the bee threat. But they had all the equipment he needed at the stadium.
So do you know, because I don't, if they had the as I understand, he vacuumed the bees.
Yeah, I've seen that done. They vacuum,
way.
they try to get the queen, and once the queen's there, they can just
vacuum them and then go release them somewhere safely.
Humanely, that's what they tell you. It's a farm upstate. Where'd you do the bees? Oh, I released them. They're good.
We have that special bee farm.
Yeah, that bee farm, they're living life. All a bunch of flowers, pretty place.
There's a lot of honey there. Yeah, it's great. Lots of pollen. Anyway, I would assume it's a special vacuum. Like it's, you know what I mean? It's not like
I think it's a shop vac.
It's
I'm not kidding. I think it's a shop vac.
No, I think it's a special bee vacuum. But they had the it was like a scissor lift like that. So
you think
I find that to be?
Do you think there's I think it was a shop vac, man. I'm
very certain that it was like a scissor, like a special bee vacuum. Yes,
bee vacuum.
Yes.
Wow, that's
a type of thing.
What? How many of those they make a year?
Here's my question. So this was at the Diamondbacks game in Arizona. They were playing the Dodgers, and they wound up walking the game off. The Diamondbacks did. So what a cool night, obviously, for the D-backs. But so they noticed this before the game started. You mentioned it, and they had to kind of adjust. They thought about postponing the game, whatever, and they decided, no, let's call the B guy. The B guy showed up, took care of things, whatever, blah, blah, and they ultimately played the game. And they had to kind of change the game, by the way. Jordan Montgomery, who obviously every Rangers fan knows and loves, didn't wind up throwing for the D-backs because the whole delay changed
his arm got cold.
So they bumped him to tonight. But anyway,
there is in fact a bee vacuum that you can buy.
Thank you very much.
I'm so happy that we worry about bees to the extent we create a vacuum just to save them.
Well, don't you like honey in your tea?
No, I didn't think there'd be somebody take the time.
So this guy, you said it, got to throw out the first pitch because they were like, oh, dude, awesome. You saved the game, whatever, throw out the first pitch. Imagine if that was your first pitch. If you were, hey, we're going to have Rob Thompson from the Morning Huddle come in and throw the first pitch on Tuesday, April the 30th, whatever. And you're there and they're like, hey, Mr. Thompson, it's going to be about 20 minutes. There's a bee problem. Okay, cool. Whatever. Actually, it's going to be about an hour and a half. Okay, yeah, I'll hang out. I'll have a couple hot dogs, whatever. Actually, sir, we're going to have the bee keeper throw the first pitch.
Can you come back next year?
Yeah, that would suck to have your first pitch scratch, and then everyone's celebrating this guy, and good for him. But you're thinking that was me. I was supposed to throw this first pitch. You told everybody you knew. They all got tickets to come watch you throw the first pitch, and that didn't get to happen.
I wonder who was bumped. He did, the dude. I'd rather, if you were going to be the guy, I'd rather just be asked right then. Hey, you want to throw out the first pitch because we're really happy with you? I'd rather just oh yeah, sure. And other than working up to it for months.
I get what you're saying.
You know what I mean? Okay.
Cool, yeah.
Without having to if I'd have known that because I have thrown the first pitch out one time at a Missions game. I did throw a strike. I have witnesses and proof. But I knew it was coming, and I was nervous as all get out. I'd rather just be in the stands and hey, somebody want to throw out the first pitch than just run out there and do it. Then stew about it, and I'm worried about finger placement. Should I do a split finger fast or maybe give him the cutter? No, I'm just trying to get it over the plate.
Gilberto notes in the Brigade Bar that the beekeeper was at his kid's t-ball game 45 minutes away when he got the call. So imagine, hey, Daddy, are you going to watch? Yeah, you're going to watch us. And I believe it was the final game of the season, is what I read. So yeah, Dad, last game of the year, awesome. Let's have a good time.
Gotta go.
Son, I gotta go. Then we got a code red.
And I'm throwing out the first pitch. Good luck.
This is my time to shine. I have the vacuum in the car, in the truck. It's ready to go. You know what I mean? the special BVAC 101?
There's a variety of BVACs. They run between $98 and I see one for $370, depending on how much you actually love your bees. But you can actually go buy. Hey, honey, what do we do with the BVAC?
Well, we were gonna get Johnny braces, but we can't because you needed the BVAC Ultra.
The sad thing is, I kind of
hose.
want one now.
What would you vacuum up if it weren't bees? Maybe you could do ants.
If we could invent a fire ant both vacuum and flamethrower, that would be what I would invent.
Man, imagine, by the way, you're a bee and you're just working for the queen, right? Like, yeah, you're just like, we got to build this hive. You know what I mean? Like, that's all you got going on in there.
We're on this. I was over at Minix's house last summer, and he had this little pump action shotgun that shoots salt.
He showed me this for the mosquitoes.
I bought one on the spot. So I bought it. It was at the end of last summer, and really didn't get a full opportunity to utilize this thing. But over the last couple of days, as the spring has sprung and so it flies, I've had an opportunity to sit out on my front porch, and I am a marksman, baby.
Yeah.
You want to talk about
there?
A fly doesn't know that it's about to get shot. It's just kind of flying around. That's never been a worry. Like a deer kind of grows up and they're like, watch this. And they see the other one drop after a gunplay. Like, see, remember, don't ever go out in an open field at the sunup. Watch look what happens to Dad. Watch this. Boom, he's down. And bees and all the flying bugs don't know. And there's just a fly flying around and pop, peppered with a shower of salt. It is awesome.
Yeah. So last time I was there, he did it. And I was kind of like, I didn't expect it to be as intense as it was. And he thought it was like the funniest thing ever. And then we saw another one. He was like, here, why don't you try this? So I lined up and he was like, aim whatever. And I did it. And I disintegrated the fly. Like, it was such a powerful feeling.
It is.
But
you only got about 2 feet. You got about a 24-inch shot.
That weapon, though, is like, who was the person that said, you know what we need? We have this fly problem. I know that other people have the little bags with the stuff in it and you fill it up with water.
It works.
And we could just do that. But if we wanted, we could just develop a shotgun for the flies.
Well,
that would be so much cooler.
And I was like, is this thing really strong? So I shot my leg to see it. Wow. It's like, yeah, we'll bring it. That's an endorsement. And it's also a fine way to spend an afternoon.
What's your favorite thing about bees? Quickly.
The sweet honey that they do produce. I have a lavender plant, and this time of year, that plant just vibrates with the bees, as you should be vibrating with the Morning Huddle. So much to do. Go grab your cup of coffee and join us for another couple of hours of morning hijinks. Stretch and act like you got a pair. The Morning Huddle continues next here on the Star.
This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, KTFM Floresville.
Ahead of the field and throws it down with a right hand.
Your home for the NBA.
Hi, my name's Jason Thompson. I've lived in San Antonio for more than 50 years. Went to grade school, high school, and graduated from law school right here. San Antonians have trusted me as their attorney after serious injury and fatality collisions since 1994. My website is alawyerforus.com. Why a lawyer for us? Well, after several years of practice, I watched as insurance companies created their own law firms solely to defend against auto claims. Today, there are very few insurance companies that do not have their own captive law firm filled with attorneys whose job is to minimize what the insurance company has to pay on an auto claim. If you or a family member is injured in a traffic collision, you will need your own attorney. Just remember alawyerforus.com. For many lawyers you see on billboards, your case will be handled by a non-lawyer or a staff lawyer. If you call me, Jason Thompson, I will be the lawyer you speak with. The initial consultation is always free. If you or a family member needs an experienced attorney you can trust, I want you to call me, Jason Thompson. My number is 900-0400. That's 210-900-0400 or alawyerforus.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-5407. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-5407. That's 800-575-5407. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
It's a mystery where Old Spice finds its amazing scents like Himalayan sea salt, but I'm thrilled they have because no other body wash exfoliates and moisturizes 24/7 like Old Spice Gentleman's Himalayan sea salt body wash. Now, if only there was a mountain range separating the Indian subcontinent from the Tibetan plateau where I could hide my Old Spice and keep my family from stealing it, my impossibly smooth skin will finally be safe.
The Big Blind is celebrating their official grand opening May 8th through the 12th with an epic weekend, starting with a 12K tournament on Wednesday the 8th. 10K tournaments Thursday, Friday, and Saturday with $500 high hands every half hour and a 5K Texas free roll on Sunday. Plus, daily blackjack tournaments. Plan now to celebrate the Big Blind grand opening next week. The Big Blind, down from the Roof Pub at 281 in Redland Road. Learn more online at thebigblindsa.com.
San Antonio's Sports Star. San Antonio's Sports Center.
The Philadelphia 76ers held off elimination. They took down the Knicks late. The Tyrese Maxey hit a three.
Sports Center is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas Authority in Barricade Rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
How good do you want to be? From play one to the last play, we fighting. Today's about opportunity and character. We got a chance to come out here and play football. It's a blessing. Hey, every season is full of defining moments. Let's make this day a defining moment for us in our quest. Let's go, baby.
This is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star with Rob Thompson and the managing editor of Blogging the Boys, RJ Ochoa. Now, here are the guys.
Hey, it's the Morning Huddle here on San Antonio Sports Star. Check him out real closely. He's RJ Ochoa of the Blogging the Boys fame. I'm Rob Thompson. We're glad you're here on a hump day. This hour, I got some tickets to give away. We're going to go see the new Planet of the Apes movie next Thursday night. And if you want to go with us, hang on tight. I got some Fandango codes we're going to send your direction. We're going to give those away in the next 30 minutes or so if you want to be part of that train ride. I also have some Country Wayne tickets. He's a comedian, well known on the YouTubes, and he's an influencer there, RJ. He will be at the Aztec on the 5th, just 4 days from now. It's a Live Nation gig. If you want to buy the tickets, go to livenation.com. I will have them to win in the 9 o'clock hour.
That's exciting.
I had never heard of the guy, and I went and looked him up, and he's funny. He's funny. You tired this morning? Did you have to stay up all the way? Did you stay up late last night, or did you see the inevitable and leave the Buck Pacer game early?
I'm exhausted. I stayed up watching way too many sports. I watched an episode of Tourist Sauce from No Laying Up. I started an episode of The Crown, and it was difficult because I was doing these things in parallel with the Astros game, with the Bucks game, with the Bruins game, with the Avalanche game, with the
better night NHL or basketball.
Well, my Bruins lost, so it was a tough night from an NHL standpoint. And the Bucks won, so I was very happy from an NBA standpoint. So, and I was happy because this Knicks Sixers series will continue. So I was also happy from an NBA standpoint. So better night for the NBA for me, for the association.
All in all, as someone who's watched both, and I haven't, by every measure, which the playoffs been better for the NBA or the NHL? What's been more exciting?
Actually, NHL playoffs are catching a little bit of heat for being a little too boring right now. We haven't had a game 7 yet. Granted, we haven't had one in the NBA yet, but as of yesterday, so like 24-ish hours ago in the NHL, there'd been a few sweeps and there were nothing but 3-1 leads. Now we did get some now we have some 3-2s. We have some 3-2s going on in the NBA as well, which is what's exciting. That's why I'm saying it was cool to see. Last night was kind of the underdog night in both the NBA and NHL. So
well, we had two phenomenal games, and we're going to stretch in and get some extra basketball that, quite frankly, I think a lot of us thought it could have been over for both teams last night. Probably should have been, definitely for the Sixers. But Tyrese Maxey's late heroics, Joel Embiid's super average triple-double in the playoffs, only the fourth guy to ever do what he just did, joining Robinson and Duncan of the Spurs and Ralph Sampson of the Rockets way back when. But on the other side of the coin, the Pacers ran into a well-coached and buzzsaw Milwaukee Bucks. And I'm not a Doc Rivers fan. I think that it's time for him to go back to the sidelines and do whatever he did. That there's nothing new that he brings to the game. But last night, he coached his ass off. That was a well-coached, hard-fought basketball game that I didn't see coming. And neither did the Pacers, quite frankly.
It was a strong performance. There's no question. Was it the best game that Doc has coached?
Oh,
the Bucks?
Far and away.
Yeah, like I recognize there's not a large sample size there,
but I mean, it's the time the Bucks won a game without the stars, without both of them all year.
Let me put it a different way. Was last night the most you've ever been impressed?
Yes.
Most again ever. I think is
the
strong.
Celtics. I mean, I'm not taking anything away from Doc. He's a hell of a coach, but the kind of coach that he has become, he is no longer a developmental coach. He's an X's and O's coach. There's nothing that's going to come around the pike that he hadn't seen before and knows how to coach his way through it. And that's what he's become. But nobody goes and plays for Doc Rivers and leaves a better player. I mean, they're a different player. They're good at Doc's system, but they're not on the whole walking away like DeMar DeRozan did after being a pro for 10 years, leaving Pop and go, you know what? I'm a better player today than I was when I got here. No one says that about Doc. So when I see him last night, every time out, calling guys out and pointing things out and just being the coach that won the title way back when, it was a pleasure to watch. Especially because he had to engineer a game plan that involved Bobby Portis getting 29.
Well, it was a work of art. Now, it was the Pacers.
It's true. The worst defensive team in the playoffs. They're playing with a backstop of 3 to get 1, basically. They folded up 10 pretty early in the second quarter. In fact, I turned it off at the end of the third. They were down by 18, I think. I'd watched Malik Beasley. Man, Malik Beasley is good. That guy is a comer. He is going to be a very good basketball player. I watched him kind of light it up there in the third, and it's over. And it was. I can't help but watch the entire playoffs, and every team I'm seeing, I'm like, would that guy fit? Would they let that guy go? Because
it's just like,
think about who we are right now. The Spurs right now are I'm trying to define that they have a lot of money in their account, cards, and can go shopping for whatever they want. Anything they want. They got the money to go at least get in the discussions. We're talking about if you wanted to go get somebody, they could throw out, how about 5 number ones? They could legitimately go, here's 5. They could get anything they want right now.
I think you'll appreciate this. My first foray into this radio station was winning a contest almost 8 years ago when I won the original Rock the Mic.
Mm-hmm.
And the prize was apparently lifelong friendships with all of you, which is whatever.
Well,
but aside from that,
money.
aside from that, I won a year's supply of Wingstop. That's the way it was built.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was in the middle of everything, I didn't know what that was going to look like. I didn't know if it was going to be like 52 coupons, for like an 8-piece or something like that.
Or like I could go in whenever I wanted and just eat.
Yeah, like I didn't know what it was. After I won, and kind of, and had to take a blood oath and all this sort of stuff. I found out it was, I don't want to say exactly how much, but it was 2 very large gift cards.
Yes.
Like comically large gift cards.
That you couldn't eat it. You wouldn't want to eat that much stuff.
And I guess somebody somewhere at some point maybe Jasmine, I don't know, had tabulated or calculated how much a year's supply of Wingstop was worth and had put it, and I guess it couldn't even fit on a single gift card. So it had to be broken down into two. And so there was nothing like, and I experienced this twice because of the two gift cards, going to the Wingstop and paying for something, and then at the end having them tell me my balance
I
on the
still
gift
got
card.
that much.
And they would be like, "You have this much
Why
left? Who
hundreds of dollars?
Like, who gave you? Like, why do you?" It was such a strange phenomenon. But something that was very cool is I would go with people forever to Wingstop and be like, "This is our kingdom. Like anything the light touches, anything you want." Yeah, I got it. Like, and anything you want. And so it was kind of like what you're talking about. Like, we are this, like, I was the Spurs and Wingstop is like the pool of all players. Right. Free agents, doesn't matter. Players who need to be acquired by way of draft capital, doesn't matter. We got the Wingstop gift cards to burn, baby.
And we do. And for years to come. And you could, and there's a limit to how many number ones you can trade to protect players and owners from themselves. But literally, they have enough capital to go chase whatever they want. So there's that. Then there is finding the advocates to help you along the way, to help you, it's like hiring a PR firm just to lay the land out there, to let everybody know that whatever's about to happen is a good thing. And Brian Windhorse, the lamprey to LeBron, the co-host of this socialist basketball show called the Hoop Collective, came to San Antonio. It was about a month ago. I'm back in April. I want you to listen. This is Brian Windhorse a month ago talking about, this is before the playoffs. This is when we were just starting to kick in that, you know what, Victor might also be defensive player of the year, not just rookie. This is Wendy.
Make fun of me all you want. I've lived in Miami. I've lived in New York City. I spend 50 days a year in Los Angeles. You can say whatever you want about what I'm about to say, okay? San Antonio is a growing city. Lots and lots of people have moved to San Antonio in the last 4 or 5 years. I drove from Austin to San Antonio the other day. There is no difference between the cities now are grown together. I-35, it is one giant megalopolis from Austin to San Antonio.
Megalopolis. Wow.
They are playing games in Austin now.
Yeah.
They have the number one practice facility in the NBA. If you want to think of it as a cow town, like it was the turn of the century, fine. And is it New York or LA? Of course not. But there's a whole bunch of people moving to Texas, and they're moving to Texas for a lot of reasons. And there's a lot of people moving to San Antonio. So it ain't Cleveland. And I say that as somebody from Cleveland. Okay. So say whatever you want about nobody ever wanting to be in San Antonio. Go ahead and say it. I'm telling you, that's not necessarily true. It may be true for a lot of guys. Somebody is going to be like, you know what? That's not a bad place. They have a great practice facility. There's no state income tax, and I can play with Victor Wembanyama for the rest of my career and make a ton
Good
of money.
organization, right? Good organization.
Of course, that goes without saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm walking away. I'm leaving San Antonio now, but that's what I'm walking away saying.
That's Brian Windhorse a month ago on his Socialist Collective show. And that was, he had come to San Antonio, and I don't know what the Spurs did for him. But his attitude about our city has, and the destination and Wemby is one of, well, now we heard him yesterday. Or McAfee, was it Monday, RJ?
Monday.
It was on Monday. This is him on Monday.
Before we move on, let me say something about Wembanyama. Some star player, I predict, is going to look at what's going on in San Antonio and say, I want to be there.
Oh, play that.
Go put me next to that guy. I don't know who it's going to be, but somebody is going to get – it's probably not going to be a guy who's a number one on his team now. My guess is it's going to be a guy who's maybe in the middle of his career who realizes he can't win it all by himself. That situation in San Antonio is too exciting to not have somebody want to go play with that guy. I don't think it's going to be LeBron, but it's going to be
Damian Lillard? Is that who we're talking about?
Dame is under long-term contract
Trae
in
Young?
Milwaukee.
Ooh.
Now, that's an interesting name.
Okay. Oh, hey, we're doing the basketball.
Okay.
We're doing the basketball today.
Brian Windhorse on His Highness's Pat McAfee show on Monday.
A few things. First off, I don't know if being in LA 50 days a year means that Wemby's taxes have to include that. You know what I mean? So if the IRS was listening,
true.
Heads up. But
That's funny.
I have a question for you, Robert, Bobby. You ever been called Bobby?
Yes.
It had to have happened. Yeah.
My dad's Bob.
You're not a Bobby. There's just no way you could ever be.
Never fit, never liked.
Anyway, there was a very specific kind of label that Wendy put out, right? Like, I don't think it's going to be a superstar or whatever. I think it's going to be a guy in the middle of his career who's realized he can't do it, needs some help. Now, I'm not saying that Wendy isn't an opinionist, because he is. He's awesome. And he's apparently like the biggest fan of this city in the world. But he's also very well connected, right? And I don't want to like read too into what he's saying, but like I don't believe, my own opinion, that he would have thrown out that specific label if he didn't know that it was those specific kinds of dudes who had expressed high levels of interest in playing with Wemby. Is that fair?
Oh, I completely agree. Yes.
So who fits that mold? Who fits that box? Who fits that label? Middle of their career has realized they need help to do this.
Donovan Mitchell is the first guy that comes to mind.
Donovan Mitchell? I don't know that
There's
Trae
a lot
Young is
more.
quite there.
No, he's not. But Trae Young has had more success than Donovan has.
Sure.
But the guy that comes to mind, it feels like Mitchell's a searcher. The Utah didn't work. They moved him. Now he's at Cleveland. I think he's looking. He's working it. Now Trae might fall in, and there's nothing wrong with going, I'm a Hawk first, and then I'm a searcher for a title second. And there's a lot of guys in the league like that. And maybe if you guys do enough stuff, but I'm here through the long, like Dame did with Portland. And nothing wrong with that. I appreciate the guys that decide that. So the guy that you're chasing is going to have to be a searcher. For me to be complete, I have to have a ring instead of just being the guy that was beloved forever, that stayed here despite, but never quite got it. And I think Donovan Mitchell could fit that. I was going to say Drew Holiday, but that's too easy. The other ones are going to be harder to mine. I was really impressed with Malik Beasley last night. He's not that guy. He's the guy that's on his way up. He doesn't know what he's going to be, but man, oh man, he's got something. Jimmy Butler, I like you, Goldfinger. That's another guy that you go, that fills a couple of bills. That does a lot of stuff for me.
Jimmy Butler would be awesome. I mean, I can't even. That's a bigger dream than Trae Young to me.
It really
because
is.
I love Trae Young, but Jimmy brings. We throw around the word swagger too much, and I don't even know that it's swagger. Jimmy brings a killer instinct. That's what I really want. I want a haha, this is fun, but I want to end them. You know what I mean? Like I want that. I don't know that Trae Young or even Donovan Mitchell have that yet. While Donovan and Trae have had their levels of success, Jimmy has been there. You know what I mean? Like Jimmy has had it in his hands and not gotten it. And so I want somebody who's tasted that kind of defeat to serve as motivation.
And it tastes pretty sour as the 13 team. Hey, coming back, we're going to continue on this thread because I want you to hear the rest of what Wendy did yesterday. Because there is just stuff happening. And we're going to hear from Wendy. We're going to hear from Shams and also Jay Will on where the Spurs sit currently and where they're going. The NBA continues and the Spurs are playing a role. Hold on tight. We're talking about it next. This is 94.1 and you're on San Antonio Sports Star. I hope you didn't wake up this morning in pain, something keeping you out of life. And if you did, listen real close because there's a fix out there. It's called Arosty. Now, Arosty is a method. It is a way of getting you out of pain in a very unique fashion. It's not about pills and medication to hide and dull the pain. It's not about surgery that can, in fact, prolong the pain and cause other issues. It's about your body healing itself in a rather remarkable way, and it takes a lot of training to do that. Arosty providers come to you fully prepared to get you out of pain in a lot of different ways. And they'll first involve a full evaluation. They're going to find out what the problem is. They're going to fix the problem if they can. And when they do, the pain goes away. And what I found, at least in my situation, was I had back issues, but it wasn't my back. It was my hamstrings. They fixed that. And suddenly the back got fixed. I want that for you. You know this. You don't need a referral to go see an Arosty provider. So you can go ahead and call that and make that appointment now. Here's the number. It's 1-800-404-6050. The website is Arosty.com. They got a map of all the providers there. You can use that as a great way to find the one that's best for you. I bet there's one less than 10 minutes from where you are right now. Listen close. Don't let pain keep you from doing things that you love. There is a fix out there. It's worked for me, and I'm sure it'll work for you. It's called a Rosti. Call them today. When they fix you, I want you to thank me later.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up on The Blitz, it is a big day. Will McClay with the Dallas Cowboys will join us. We're going to talk draft. We'll talk future. We'll talk all things Dallas Cowboys with Will McClay when he joins us. Not only that, it's Wednesdays with Wade. Wade Phillips, the head coach of the San Antonio Brahmas. He'll join us at 4:35.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
Just saw something on Facebook. You know, you read something really quick and you go, oh my God, I can't believe I fell for that. A new drug has been developed for lesbians with depression. It's called tricoxagen. Gigi got it.
Where's the white women at?
The John Clay Wolf Show.
Catch the John Clay Wolf Show Saturdays from 9 a.m. to noon right here on San Antonio Sports Star.
Maybe it's time to ask your checking account. What have you done for me lately? My Advantage Checking from Generations Federal Credit Union does more. My Advantage Checking pays you 2 days early, plus shopping rewards, identity protection, and much more. My Advantage Checking treats you right. So make the switch. Learn more at Generations Federal Credit Union. Member owned, community grown. Member eligibility requirements apply. For complete terms and conditions, visit mygenfcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
Hi, my name's Jason Thompson. I've lived in San Antonio for more than 50 years. Went to grade school, high school, and graduated from law school right here. San Antonians have trusted me as their attorney after serious injury and fatality collision since 1994. My website is alawyerforus.com. Why a lawyer for us? Well, after several years of practice, I watched as insurance companies created their own law firms solely to defend against auto claims. Today, there are very few insurance companies that do not have their own captive law firm filled with attorneys whose job is to minimize what the insurance company has to pay on an auto claim. If you or a family member is injured in a traffic collision, you will need your own attorney. Just remember alawyerforus.com. For many lawyers you see on billboards, your case will be handled by a non-lawyer or a staff lawyer. If you call me, Jason Thompson, I will be the lawyer you speak with. The initial consultation is always free. If you or a family member needs an experienced attorney you can trust, I want you to call me, Jason Thompson. My number is 900-0400. That's 210-900-0400 or alawyerforus.com.
My friends swim no matter the season, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can sometimes take me out of the moment. Now, thanks to Skyrizi and clear skin, count me in. With Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
When it's time for a brake job, go with a solution that delivers one of the smoothest and most quiet rides on the road. Napa Silent Guard Brakes. Made with fiber-reinforced shims that eliminate noise for the life of the pad. Rubber-coated hardware for a better fit on 99.5% of vehicles. and quality design that meets and exceeds OE performance. Napa Silent Guard brakes deliver the stopping power and performance drivers demand in their vehicles. Available now at Napa locations nationwide.
Don't miss the best Spring Fest deals right now at Lowe's. Save big on Stay Green 1 cubic foot garden soil. Get 5 bags for just $10. Plus, get up to 35% off and save an extra $150 on every $1,500 you spend on select major appliances. Shop these can't-miss deals now. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows savings. Offer valid through 5/1. Soil offer excludes Alaska and Hawaii while supplies last. Appliance savings vary based on purchase amount. Exclusions apply. See Lowe's.com for more details.
This is Jim Rome. Join me weekdays at noon on my new home, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Welcome back. Hope you didn't go nowhere. It's the Morning Huddle here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. The Blitz is going to be busy today. You want to make sure you get here early and stay late. Wade will be here for his regular Wednesdays with Wade Phillips as the head coach of the Brahmas continues on. Brahmas, depending on where you're from. Will McClay, the chief in charge of talent acquisition and finding for the Dallas Cowboys, will join the Blitz. That's an interesting get. You don't talk very often to Will McClay. And I don't think Will McClay would be available to the Blitz or anybody else unless the Cowboys felt a little bit under siege. I'm just saying. What's your perception of that? Are you surprised that McClay's out doing some publicity stuff, RJ?
No.
Okay.
I mean, this is pretty
Is
common.
it pretty common this time of year? Because we don't, I've the reason I say that is just me personally. I've only had the chance to really sit down with Will McClay over the last, 10 years, maybe 3 times.
Yeah, I mean,
he's just not always available.
To be clear, I'm not saying it's super common.
No,
but
it's I think we all know it's not common.
He does a miniature version of a car wash after the draft. Yeah.
Okay. So here he comes. So he's going to do the miniature version, and we assume the questions will be centered not only around the ones that got here, but the running backs that did not. And I can't wait to hear Jason and Joe ask the questions that we're all going to want to hear, and that'll be today at starting at 2. But we're talking Wendy and a guy who has now become the biggest and most vocal advocate for San Antonio and Wemby. And there's no getting around the fact that Wemby and Wendy sound just alike. And LeBron's ending his career, and Brian Windhorse made a career out of sticking close to one guy. Ahmad Rashad began the process with Jordan. Brian Windhorse perfected it. And is he looking for his next? Yesterday, there was a debate going on Get Up amongst basketball types as to who is the new face of the NBA. And as much of a fan of Wemby as I am, I'm not ashamed to say it right now. It's the Ant-Man. It is. Now, it might not be for long. Listen to the debate and listen to Wendy.
How about that fella that you spent a whole bunch of time chasing around France all that time, Wendy?
I was waiting. Look, I spent a month overseas with Anthony Edwards last year. I absolutely adore his competitiveness and his character, his personality. I think he's absolutely that guy. I would not rule out Ja Morant coming roaring back after 2 setback years. Do not forget about him. But the future of the NBA resides in San Antonio. If he can stay healthy, Victor Wembanyama has the personality and the game and the ability to draw eyeballs.
I wish you could see the package that's going on behind him as he's talking.
Change the balance of power in the league. He is the future. And somebody or 2 players are going to want to come to San Antonio. To me, if somebody were to hire me to give their opinion, their opinion where to go in the NBA, and obviously not, but I will give it for free then. I don't know why you don't want to go to San Antonio. People are talking about the future. What can the Lakers and the Warriors do? Watch out for the Spurs coming from the rear view, because the San Antonio Spurs future is very bright. The Timberwolves future is very bright. And I'll also mention Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who is already one of the best players in the league.
Future's bright. Players are going to want to come. Now we say that, and it is absolutely true. And we were just joking about the fact that we've got a lot of money. We see a lot of money in the bank account, lots of free agent money available now, lots of draft capital now. In the future, it only gets better next year. This year's good. Next year's better. But
it is.
Now the other guy that we often hear with on that collective, what's his name? Shams?
Yes.
No,
not with that.
no.
Because Wendy's collective is ESPN.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, not in the collective, but of the collective. Another guy that is a mouth of the NBA who is plugged in as much as anybody.
Yeah, Shams does a show on FanDuel with our friend Michelle Beto.
Mm-hmm. I'm not holding it against either one of them.
Okay.
Actually, I like the show. Listen to Shams talk about timeline, because as much as we can, toot our own horn and be proud of the things that San Antonio is becoming and the guy that we got, how fast do we need to get things fixed?
This guy's going to win Rookie of the Year, and he was a finalist for Defensive Player of the Year all in his first season. Next season, All-Star, All-NBA. Those are all things I'm sure that are going to be very, very attainable for Victor Wembanyama. And with the Spurs now, they're going to be in play. They're going to be rumored. They're going to be talked about with legitimately every top-flight point guard that we're going to see potentially on the marketplace. They called last year during this season, expressed interest in DeJounte Murray. So we already know there's at least some level of interest in seeing what type of all-star caliber point guard can they bring in there. And so we don't know yet, will the Hawks be open? Are they open for business on Trae Young? Does Trae Young, what is his future there? But if a guy like that is available, they're going to express a level of interest in any really top flight guard in the league. And Victor Wembanyama, what he showed this year, he made it clear his timeline to winning starts now, and he is very capable. He's very ready to make that happen.
Shams Charania on with who was he on with? I want to make sure we give credit where it was due.
Pat McAfee.
That was McAfee.
Yeah.
That's right, His Highness. We're in direct competition with the Lakers right now. Direct competition. Whoever the Lakers want, are we going to get the other, or is Atlanta willing to part with both for a bunch of draft picks? Because
I don't know if you're Atlanta, I don't know why you would only be willing to part with one.
I agree. If you're doing this, do this right.
Right. If you're going to only part with one, you're not going to be better. You know what I mean? So you have to just hit the reset and accept where you're at. And I'm obviously a proponent for that. So Lakers, you can have DeJounte. We'll take Trae. Yeah. Good luck.
Either way,
on the other side.
I don't think the Spurs
Either
would
way,
be highly
I'm
upset
super
with
fine.
DeJounte coming home, and that'd feel very Cowboys-esque, wouldn't it? But the idea of getting a point guard in a team that has two of them certainly feels good. Now, I like Jay Williams. I know that comes out of left field, but the ESPN's basketball analyst, Jay Williams, he brings up something that I think a lot of people that watch the league just from highlight packages and through the prism of ESPN National and really aren't plugged into local San Antonio and get to see Wemby on a regular basis. And especially didn't get to see Wemby as I believe Wemby became an NBA pro. Like, this is the league. This is how I understand it. The day he set foot home after the rodeo road trip. I think a rodeo road trip did more to indoctrinate, inculcate, turn light switches on, and make him be the NBA guy that was then being considered as not just rookie, but defensive player of the year and all NBA type. It was those games after the February road trip where we started to see the guy flexing on the sidelines and screaming at dunks and looking at his players and demanding and doing. Jay Williams says there's some things that Wemby does need to do. Listen to this.
I mean, I think Victor is an anomaly. I mean, there's a reason why Nike came out with the alien crop field commercial. I mean, I think that's what you're watching when you see him play. I still need to learn more about the personality, but I think we'll see that with the more he wins.
What do you think about his personality? What is it?
About Wemby?
Yeah, what do you see him being the because there's lots of different leaders out there on basketball courts. You watch Maxey, he plays with a smile, man. You can't help but have fun when you're running around with Maxey. But there's other players like Kobe, you better be at work, baby. If you ain't working, you ain't playing with me kind of guys. So there's leaders out there that do it different ways.
I think what makes Wemby so interesting and this will sound weird, but he's an adult out there. And that's not to say that other styles are immature. I don't mean that like that way, but
I get you.
They're more youthful. You know what I mean? Like you mentioned, like Tyrese Maxey doing it with a smile. Like there's a different kind of youthful energy, and that's still, he's obviously an adult, but you get what I'm saying? Like there's something more corporate, more and again, like all are fine, but Wemby's appears to be more, not quite mean mugging, but just, this is the job. I'm going to do the job, and then we're going to move on to the next job type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's very Spursian, but it just kind of fits Wemby and his quiet demeanor and personality. And so I think when he flexes, when he does whatever, it's all part of the kind of grab your lunch pail and go to work mentality and disposition that he has.
The method to his madness. Yeah, there's plenty of personality there, Jay. And it's not what you'd expect. I think it's very much that French liberty, equality, fraternity kind of thing. I think he's looking for a guy that's a me guy, but a we thing, because he is. I think that when you ask him what the guys that he likes, I bet one of their defining characteristics is they're just like Pop wants them to be, over themselves and good to better, better to best. I'm doing it already, and I'm about to be the face of the league, and I expect that from you. And I think if that's what they're chasing, that's the mentality that he's actually bringing. We'll continue talking Spurs, but Edwin's asking me to break, and I want to give away some tickets when we get back. Let's give away some Planet of the Apes tickets on the other side, so you better stay close to your device, because we might ask you to do a feat of strength or answer a question. You never know. It's the Morning Huddle, and you're on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
San Antonio Sports Star.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-5407. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-5407. That's 800-575-5407. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Experience the Kentucky Derby weekend at Retama Park in Selma, Texas on May 3rd and 4th. Join us for the biggest pre-Derby party on Friday and the main event on Saturday. Enjoy drinks, delicious food, and thrilling races. Don't miss this chance to celebrate the Derby tradition with us.
Joe Reinagle here. I want to tell you about something that has completely changed my life. I had vision correction surgery at Parkhurst New Vision. The results are amazing. The readers are a thing of the past. Hey, if you're like me and tired of those glasses, call Parkhurst New Vision at 210-585-2020. They offer a variety of services like vision correction surgery. So call Parkhurst New Vision, 210-585-2020, or get them online at sanantoniolasik.com.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code MONTHFREE by May 31st. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Not to brag, but Progressive's Name Your Price tool is mankind's greatest tool ever. Even better than the wheel. Sure, without the wheel, we wouldn't have modern transportation or funny videos of dogs riding skateboards. But without the Name Your Price tool, we wouldn't have easy access to auto insurance options based on our budget. And, well, cars do need wheels. They also need insurance, and insurance never goes flat. Learn more about the greatest tool ever. Then name your price tool at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
Good morning, everybody. Joe Reinagle here. Coming up on the Blitz. Big day. Will McClay will join us. We'll talk about the draft. We'll talk about the Cowboys' future. Everything Dallas Cowboys we'll talk about with Will McClay. Also, it is Wednesdays with Wade. Wade Phillips, the head coach of the San Antonio Brahmas. He will join us as well. Hey, Rob. Hey, RJ. Got any questions for Will McClay? Let me know.
I got a few. Deep and abiding. I'll be listening today. Did they say what time? Did we hear? I'll track that down and we'll find out because I want to make sure everybody's zeroed in. I know Wade's about 4:30. Normally, I want to make sure we get that right as well. We were talking about Windhorse and all that he has been doing to promote San Antonio and the free agency that begins. We're going to continue covering that, but we've welcomed Zeke back home, and we got a chance to hear from him.
So, by the way, about 30 minutes ago, ESPN's Todd Archer, friend of the show, tweeted out the contract breakdown for Zeke.
Oh, man, this does matter. I'd like to hear this.
Well, this is going to feed your delusion. Signing bonus, $375K.
Change in the cushions.
Base salary, $1.25 million, guaranteed. Cap number, $2 million. Active roster bonus, $375K. Incentives, he has a 1,100 scrimmage yards. Goodness gracious. Plus the playoffs, that's $250K. 10 touchdowns plus the playoffs, that's $250K. And 51% playtime plus the playoffs, $500K. So we got another a cool $1 million doll hairs in what I would determine to be not likely to be earned incentives. That's a actual term, an LTBE.
Mm-hmm.
So this is.
You think those are LTBEs?
Yeah, dude.
Oh, well,
No
I
way
hope. I mean, but I looked at 1,100 total, and I thought, I think that feeds your narrative for sure.
He could hit the 10 touchdowns. That might. I mean, there's you're the goal line guy, whatever.
Yeah.
And maybe the 51% playtime. The one I have the least amount of confidence in is the 1,100 scrimmage yards. I don't know why I struggle to say that with the 1,100, but whatever. Anyway,
there's a lot of cuss of Russ in there.
Anyways, this is effectively league minimum. Again, the Zeke thing in a vacuum, not a bad thing. League minimum, not a bad thing. All logical to do. It's how we got here that is troublesome, right? Like we're deep in we're in the middle of Requiem for a Dream. So whatever's happening now is just kind of par for the course. But we're have you ever seen that movie, by the way?
I have.
That's what I'm saying. You get 2 hours into that movie and anything happens and you're just kind of well, this is normal.
Of course, yeah.
because I'm 2 hours into the movie. But, we spent 2 hours here when we could have watched something else is really my point.
And so much, this just kind of defines the way that I have begun to approach the Cowboys. Because my daddy always told me, never try to make sense out of nonsense. It'll drive you crazy. If it doesn't make any sense to you, don't try to make it sense. And what I see from the Cowboys doesn't make any sense to me. I don't get what they're trying to do. I think I get it. By their actions, they show me. Their words tell me something entirely different. Their actions show me one thing. Yet they continue to achieve a modicum of success, the likes of which tells you there's more imminent if they can just tweak it,
I don't know. The Cowboys to me are let's go to the mall. When you're in high school and you don't know what to do on a Friday night, let's go to the mall. That's what we have no real plans. We're just wandering. We're just at the mall. If we find a kiosk that has something cool, maybe we'll buy it. If we see some friends by the movie theater, maybe we'll stop by and say hey. Maybe we'll go down to the arcade. Maybe we'll get a slice of pizza or two at Sbarro. But we're just going to the mall. We're just wandering. We have no real plans.
Well, you'd like to think,
and it will be a fine night at the end of it all.
Well,
We'll go to bed and say that was fun.
No, but you'd like to think if Mama's taking you to the mall that you might be able to get something. I mean, that it might be some money actually spent on you instead of just looking in the windows. Yesterday, Hembo, that sneaky SOB that he is, listen to what he had to say on Greeny, and it might be the realest thing he's ever said.
The topic of the list is who had the best offseason. And unless you were insistent that they fire Nick Sirianni, I think they had a great offseason.
Yeah, so do I. My favorite thing that they've done this offseason is extend their homegrown players. Devontae Smith, Landon Dickerson, Jordan Mailata, and they also gave A.J. Brown an extension. They're doing the thing that the Cowboys should have done.
What the hell are the Cowboys doing, by the way? What are they waiting for? Like, what are you waiting for? I don't understand it. What are they doing? It has paralyzed their offseason. What are they waiting for? What are you waiting for? The wide receiver market to get even higher so you can pay CD Lamb even more?
Can I just tell you the best kept secret about Jerry Jones? He's really cheap. Jerry Jones is cheap. Right now, the Cowboys rank dead last, 32nd in the NFL in cash spending. They are dead last. Obviously, you have the salary cap, and then you have the cash. The Eagles rank second right now. They have an owner willing to front the cash on contracts, and that enables you to have more salary cap flexibility. Jerry Jones is unwilling to do that. What Jerry Jones is instead doing is prolonging the inevitable. They're going to have to pay 120 cents on the dollar for their own players because they're not willing to structure their contracts intelligently because he's not willing to provide that money up front.
Wow. That's something I had not thought of, and we should do a little deep dive into that.
Let's do it.
Who's first, by the way, in cash spending?
I'll pull that
You said
list
the
up.
Eagles are second.
I think Greeny needs to be dialed in here, although he's a little busy. But we've been telling you this RJ's been telling you this for weeks.
But Hembo hinted at, and maybe this was the grand point, but it's more than just that the Eagles got their contract extensions done, right? It's one thing to have your cornerstone players taken care of, but they also beat the market. They got Landon Dickerson done right before free agency opened, and all the guards got paid. They got Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown done before the wide receiver market hit. Granted, the Amon-Ra St. Brown deal was sandwiched in between there. So they understand that you have to pay at a certain point in time. You have to. I mean, unless you just want to keep letting players walk and dragging it out and paying the most at the 11th hour rate. And I don't know how many ways to say it. I don't know how many analogies to come up with, but this is the dumbest way to go about this. I mean, it simply is. And they just want to do it their way, and it's their team, and that's frustrating, but it doesn't have to be this way. And you know what? If you want to do this stuff, or if you want to bring Zeke back and all this kind of stuff, fine, but treat the other things logically. That's really all I care about is treat things logically, and they're not. They have nothing really to show for this offseason. Yes, they had a draft and it was successful, and yes, they brought Zeke back, and it's basically a league minimum deal, and that's fine, but they still have these massive pending issues with Dak, CD, and Micah that they've seemingly made no progress on.
The post-draft dust is starting to settle, and we're starting to see the lists of all the post-draft, post-mortem, post-majority of free agency power rankings. Where do you think the Cowboys, do you think they've moved up in that over the last?
No, I mean, they're a worse team on paper than they were when they lost the playoff game. And so I don't think right now I'd put them ahead of the Eagles. I certainly wouldn't put them ahead. I mean, just in the NFC alone, I'd put the Niners, the Eagles, the Lions, hard not to say the Packers ahead of them. And then you can start talking about wild cards and teams. Maybe you think the Rams are going to take another step this year. Maybe you think the Bears, maybe you're willing to really go crazy there. And then if you involve AFC teams, I mean, obviously the Chiefs, I'd put the Ravens ahead. I'd put, I think it's fair to put the Texans ahead. I'd put, maybe they'll probably put the Bills ahead. Maybe the Bills are kind of pushing right there, although because they obviously lost Stephon Diggs. I mean, they're really down at wide receiver too. So, and then it depends on what you believe in the Jets. If Aaron Rodgers is going to play. I mean, so
wow,
it's not hard to talk yourself into, or just talk about 10 teams and get to them first before you get to the Cowboys in terms of, I mean, did I name a team that you're like, oh, the Cowboys are clearly better than them?
No. I'm looking at the Athletics, although there's 25 of them out there. And this is done with Josh Kendall, but they have insights from a variety of the athletic writers. And it comes in with post everything. Kansas City comes in still at number 1, San Francisco number 2, Detroit at number 3. Post free agency rank, they had him at 3. Brugler's draft, they had him at 3. Dane Brugler, good friend of the show and outstanding person in his own right. Number 4, they Baltimore, which yes, they got themselves a running back and continue to improve. 5, the Houston Texans. Terrible draft, but post free agency had a heck of a free agency. 6, Green Bay, and 7, Dallas. Still have them in the top 10, and this is the Athletic. Now I'm sure others have them lower. I don't think anybody would have Dallas any higher than 7th in a power ranking.
Yeah, it'd be tough, I think, to put them higher than 7. But again, you could talk yourself in a number of different directions.
I want to read you what is said in the Athletic, and I want you to react to what it had to say. For 51 weeks of the year, it feels like the Cowboys are all over the map. Somebody, usually the owner, is saying quizzical things. We're all in. Expectations are being elevated and then left unmet. And then comes draft week, and Cowboys just quietly go about doing a very good job. It's why they get away with all the other stuff. Dallas got the value in all 3 of its top picks. A second-round edge rusher in Marshawn Nealon could be a star, adding back Ezekiel Elliott. In free agency, doesn't move the needle as much at this point. They come in at number 7. Ahead of Cleveland, by the way. And this, again, is the Athletic, and again, it's all subjective.
I would definitely put them ahead of Cleveland. I don't believe in the Browns.
They come in with Buffalo at 10, Philadelphia at 11.
I mean, the Eagles are big winners of the offseason every year, and this isn't meant in any kind of hater way, but like they did collapse, and Jalen Hurts did look bad, and so it's fair to kind of wonder and have questions. I mean, there's no doubt about that, but I mean,
the reason I brought this up, and this is a strange question to ask, because Cowboy fan is not the most realistic in the world, but I am asking, as Cowboy fans who seem to be just universally disgusted but with everything. Even with all that going on outside the prism of all that we do, those that are looking around the league, most that I just opened another one, they came in at 10th. Most of the leagues said, they don't really have to do all that much. At least those that are writing these things.
But I agree with that, to be clear.
Okay.
But they don't have to do that much to be competitive. And the reason for that is because they draft well. And yes, I'm talking to you, head in the sand ostrich over here, whoever you are. They have one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Like, again, these people are hilarious to me that just think like they want to defend the team and then want to criticize the quarterback. Like, oh man, you're freaking out about not doing anything. They're going to be just fine. I wonder why. It's almost as if the most important player on the team is really good, the one that you just scream about hating because you have this disconnection from reality.
You're talking about the Joel Embiid of the NFL.
There's no reason for you to say anything ridiculous like this, Rob. You can back the F off. Anyway, I'm
running with this until it dies. I'm running with it.
So yeah, I agree. They don't have to do much to be competitive because they have one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, because they have one of the best wide receivers in the NFL, because they have one of the best pass rushers in the NFL. Maybe you would want those dudes to be secured to the franchise for a long time. I don't know. That's just me. But either way, imagine if they did do more, right? Like they don't have to do more to be competitive, but imagine if they did. Imagine if they did everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, imagine if they exhausted all resources. Imagine if they looked under every corner, if they looked under every rock, if they explored every crevice. Imagine if they just didn't sleep, how much greater they would be. I mean, it's a 30-year almost drought.
We'll rolling up our.
Steven, you can go right there with Rob. All right. Now, imagine if they did. You know what I'm saying? Like, now that doesn't 100% mean that they would absolutely win the Super Bowl next year, but like, would it not improve their odds? Right? Like, the drought is the drought for a reason. And it's because of this, mentality and this disposition of, well, it's enough. You know what I mean? Like, a C is a passing grade, and we can just, we can roll out of bed and get a B. You know what I mean? But
hey, don't make fun of those B's. I was mighty proud of those things.
I'm not making fun of any B's. And if I do, I'll call the guy from the Diamondbacks game to come take care of him with a special vacuum. But I mean, we want an A+. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I
agree. The reason I brought it up, RJ, is I do think that we have this sense of impending 2-15 kind of season coming, and that's not the case. This is a good football team that's got a little bit of work to do, and the separation between that and the true champions, it's a distance, but ain't as far as the picture feels sometimes, is what I'm getting at. That this is still a talented team, the likes of which we'll talk about in the 9 o'clock. We got a couple of guys, at least one guy who led an all-star basketball game in scoring. And if you pair him up with the rookie of the year, oh my goodness, the tandem they could have. We'll talk some more Cowboys on the other side. We certainly are going to look around the league. What a night last night in the NBA. His name is Tyrese, and he maxed out last night a logo 3 to prolong a series. We'll get there on the other side. First, I want to give away some tickets. I've got a pair of Fandango codes. Take that for what you will. To go see the Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, brand new movie. We got the world premiere in our own house. Well, not our house, but a house, and we have your tickets to go. We're giving away right now. 656-3776. That's ESPN on that dial. Be number 6, and you are going on the other side. We're talking hoops. This is the Morning Huddle, and you're on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Let me talk to you real quick about a good friend of mine, Dr. Jacob Torres. He has grown to be a friend over these years because, man, he knew me when I was something different. He knew me when the before picture was a wide-angle lens, and now he knows me as something a bit different. See, he's been my doc over at the Institute for Functional Health since 2016, the day I met him. I walked in there sweaty, hot, and wore out at 295 pounds, nearly 300, and didn't think there was anything in my future but that. He convinced me to give it a shot, that he could do some things that maybe somebody else had, that could convince me to try something because the benefits far outweighed anything that I was going to have to go through. And you know what? He was right. He put together a program that was made for me, my history, all the things that I was dealing with, and then applied the basic science of losing weight, and then added in the accountability and the help of his great staff there at the Institute for Functional Health. How many people do you know that can say what I'm about to tell you? I am still a patient with the Institute for Functional Health. 8 years later, the weight loss program that I thought was a short-term thing has been turned into a lifetime commitment because I feel that much better. If it is time for you to lose weight, if you have resolved to do so, if the doctors are telling you to, I want you to call Dr. Torres and let him explain to you why he's been so successful with people like me, and certainly will be with like you. The number's 210-468-1891. The website is iffhealth.com. Go there. Do your research, find out what I know, but call him. Let me tell you, it's not an easy thing to do. It's probably the most difficult thing I've ever done, but it's the best thing I've ever done for myself. I want that for you. Call Dr. Torres today. Change your life, and thank me later.
This is Jim Rome. Have a take, don't suck on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. KTFM Floresville.
Get the last water softener you'll ever own and tell them Dave Ramsey sent you.
The last water softener you'll ever own. Call 656-PURE Kinetico.
Visit KineticoSA.com.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Why'd the kid jump off the boat?
I don't know. Why?
Peer pressure. Oh, good one, Ned.
Ned isn't funny, but Ned owns a boat, and you don't. So every time Ned tells another one of his unfunny boat puns, you're going to laugh loud and keep on laughing until you get a boat of your own.
A pier where you put a boat. Yeah, I get it.
And when you do get a boat of your own, make sure you save money by bundling it with your home, auto, or other vehicles with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency on earth. And if you owe back taxes, the news isn't good. The IRS is raising the interest rate it charges on unpaid taxes, and further rate hikes are expected. Most people don't know it, but the IRS adds interest charges on your tax debt daily. So if you owe the IRS today, you will owe even more tomorrow. And it doesn't stop until you get right with the IRS. The good news is getting right can start with one phone call to Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax relief firm. Optima's tax professionals specialize in the Fresh Start Initiative, a powerful IRS program that can save you thousands if you qualify. In fact, the experts at Optima Tax have resolved over $1 billion in tax debt for their clients. Call now for a free consultation.
Call 800-480-6932. That's 800-480-6932. 800-480-6932.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149. 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star. San Antonio's Sports Center.
The New York Knicks held on tight and did not give in, but lost at the end. The 76ers took a game on the road, 112-106 the final. Tyrese Maxey hit a game-tying three to put him into overtime. The Cavs held off the Magic 104-103. No Giannis, no Dame, no problem. The Bucks beat the Pacers 115-92 to force a game 6.
How good you want to be? From play one to the last play, we fighting. Today's about opportunity and character. We got a chance to come out here and play football. It's a blessing. Hey, every season is full of defining moments. Let's make this day a defining moment for us in our quest. Let's go, baby.
This is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star with Rob Thompson and the managing editor of Blogging the Boys, RJ Ochoa. Now, here are the guys.
Hey, gather around. There's a bunch to get into this morning. It is the Morning Huddle, a Morning Hope Day edition. Joe will tell you all about it at 2. That's RJ. He's wearing his Astros blue, drinking a sun-kissed. I'm Rob Thompson, the other half of the Morning Huddle. Thanks for getting in with us today. Phenomenal night of hoops. If you stayed up late and got up early with us, we're going to talk about that. We're going to get you to work. We're going to look at the football team called the Dallas Cowboys and a bunch of numbers assigned. What did our new rookie defensive lineman get? Any numbers that we could grab from the past? As we
Marshawn Nealon, the second-round draft pick, the pass rusher out of Western Michigan, was given number 94.
That number feels familiar.
Mm-hmm.
And Zeke's going to wear 21, but that's no surprise.
Right.
Any offensive lineman, any number of the past?
Tyler Guyton, the first-round rookie, he's wearing number 60, which
who's
is not
160?
Nobody notable. It's not a real slimming number. Tough choice. Cooper Beebe, the third-round pick, who I wrote an article that was kind of a poll question, asked people to pick their favorite pick. And he was by far like the overwhelming favorite. He's wearing number 56. Kalen Carson, the new corner, is wearing 41. Ryan Flournoy, the new wide receiver out of Southeast Missouri State, is wearing number 19.
Give him the damn ball. We'll talk about that in about 15 minutes. But before we go there, I have a fear, RJ, that this tournament that is the NBA playoffs is playing out like our favorite tournament in March. That we're getting a lot of great stuff early, and I'm afraid because we're getting great stuff early, we're not going to get great stuff late.
Oh, man. Don't say that.
I'm serious. I mean, think about the matchup we're going to start with on Saturday. The two best teams in the West are going at it. I mean, and two of the best three teams in the league are going at it.
It's appropriate you bring this up on hump day because we're about to hit the hump. You know what I'm saying?
Seriously.
For the Western Conference playoffs, at least. Like after this, it's all downhill. Thank you.
So, given where we are, Saturday's going to be a slugfest. I don't know. I honestly, right now, my gut feels like if given the right numbers, I would take Minnesota in 7.
What do you need those numbers to be?
You know, because I feel like Denver's probably favored in 6 if it was me.
So Denver, they do have game 1 odds up. Who do you think's favored in game 1?
Denver.
And by how many?
Denver by crowd plus Jokic 3.
4.5.
4.5. Okay.
And then as we go to the series, this went away all of a sudden. Quit being stupid thing. Here we go. The Nuggets are favored. They are minus 215.
See, I
That's
like
pretty
that.
big. They are bigger favorites to win against the Timberwolves than in a best of 7 series than the Mavericks are against the Clippers in what has become effectively a best of
interesting.
A best of 3 series. You know what I'm saying? Because the first round is 2-2, so
right.
It's effectively
it's a 3-game series now.
Right.
Man, I like the Timberwolves defense. I don't think they're a better team. I just like the way the defense can come, and there's enough big bodies to interrupt Jokic. They've got enough big body dudes between Gobert and Naz Reid and Karl Anthony, kind of, that those guys might be able to do something against Jokic that no other team can do because of the height that they can bring to bear. That is just one side of what we got to deal with the first round. And last night we had 2 closeout games, and both of them should have gone the other way. Both of them. The Pacers had no business. I don't care where you're playing the Milwaukee Bucks. I don't care if you're playing them in Bobby Portis's backyard. You have no business losing to the Milwaukee Bucks minus Giannis and Dame. None. That team had not won not one game all year without them. And they've done it a lot. And they didn't. And you let that get away. I know it's a roadie, and I know that you had 3 to make 1. But that was that's one of those that that'll sting because you shoulda and you didn't even try. Now, what happened to New York? I would like to think you can recover, because I watched the Spurs come back from situations like that before, when you just get kicked in the nuts. When you think you've got a game, you got it in hand, you've done everything you should, and then you gag it away. How many did Maxey score to close the game out? Like 7 straight points to close the game out?
Well, he had 7 points in 17 seconds or whatever. I mean, he was on fire. Like, I mean, he was incredible, and that's what it takes. I mean, it was Reggie Miller-esque. That's exactly what it was. I mean, it was the exact same sort of thing.
It was all of that. And given what we saw, you saw Indianapolis just kind of they packed up the tent and they were headed home by halftime. They tried some stuff, but by the end of the third, they're down by 20. And it's, let's go home and let's win it at home. That's just kind of the thought you had. And Milwaukee just took advantage of it. There is no way Milwaukee can bring that back. Can they? I mean, unless they get the comeback with Giannis. But with Giannis and with Dame, that's when the Pacers had the best time. I think they would be welcoming them back, because when you had Dame and when you had Giannis, your defense was god awful, and the Pacers were running. Well, they didn't have Giannis, but when they had Dame, and the difference being the guys that played last night started with defense, and then Bobby Portis, who we had to scroll earlier. The man is a dog. He is a flat out dog. He came to play. The Pacers giving up 29 points to Portis. That stings. Do you think that the Knicks have the heart to bounce this back and win it in Philly? Do you think they can roll in there and get it? And what will that do to Philly if they can?
I think it would have been more painful for Philly to lose in New York. It would have been more isolated. Although, man, I don't know. I haven't seen Embiid say anything about the crowd yet, right? Because he had that quote, that was like, it's embarrassing, whatever, this and that. I actually want to see what the line is now. I didn't look at that game, because that is an interesting subplot to this, is whether Sixers fans show up. So we did look at this. The Sixers are 3.5-point favorites. This is going to be the most volatile Sixers crowd of all time. Is that fair to say?
Oh, absolutely.
And so to your point, I guess, if they lose in front of that, oh, man, imagine if winning last night was all for naught for the Sixers. If they won in New York just to go home and give everybody hope, just to lose and collapse in front of them. Gosh, that'd be terrible.
Joel, Team USA basketball center, unless the knee continues to bother him, did talk. He didn't talk about going home. He did talk about what it was like playing in the Garden.
It's not hostile. I mean, I love New York. New York is, my favorite city in the world. I have a place here for the past 5 years, so I just love New York. And then the fans, when you play against a team, they're always going to pick that guy. And, they seem to have picked me, which is fine. I love it. If I got to be the punching bag and you hear a lot of, FMB, that's okay. I love it.
Joel Embiid post game after the comeback win, of which he played a major role, if not a significant role. I don't know how to define that. He did something that only 3 other dudes had ever done before. The triple-double that he got last night and put him in the realm of David Robinson, Tim Duncan, and the Ralph Sampson. Oh, that's an interesting name from the past. It was effective, if not loud. Tyrese took over that game, and they dominated the pace of the game. And the Knicks, the others didn't show, and they wasted another just phenomenal, spectacular, extraordinary. There's not enough words to say what Jalen Brunson is doing right now. He's as hot as any Knick, as any player has ever been at any point in any playoff. Kimba-esque in the NCAA tournament. He is just amazing.
I don't know about any Knick ever.
Oh, well, I mean, seriously.
Well, I mean, this is a unique thing, but we're still not at Linsanity. That was its own thing.
And that didn't end well.
I know, but I mean, it still was its own thing. But outside of Linsanity, this is the most, white hot that Knick has been in the 21st century. There's no question about that. Now, I don't know which energy I believe in more. The Knicks supernova that is Jalen Brunson, or the percolating volcano that is the Sixers. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a really fascinating dichotomy of teams, because it feels like a Knicks win is what makes the most logical sense, because a Knicks win vaults them into a different stratosphere and blows the whole Sixers thing up. I don't know what a Sixers win does. Like, does a Sixers win take the wind out of the Knicks' sails? Does it make the Sixers feel better about themselves just to go lose in the second round? No.
I think that the Knicks, at the end of the day, I think they're having fun on the run. And I think they all believe that if we play the perfect game, we can beat anybody, and I agree with that. But I think most teams can say that. But I really also believe, considering the way that I saw Knick fan act after what happened to them last night as they walked out of the Garden, and all Knick fans that are on air and on Twitter, that they don't believe they're capable of winning a title. They just don't see a natty in their future. It's just not. They're having fun on the ride, but the first sign of any problem, the whole Knick Nation it's over. How on earth? I mean, if they felt like they were capable, it'd be like, man, that one got away, but we got another couple chances, man. In fact, it's going to be more fun winning it on your floor. It's going to be more fun. Let's turn the lights off on this place and let's go home. That's the attitude they should have, but that's not the attitude they've got, which tells me they don't believe they got it, but they're having a good time trying to do it. But I think the Sixers believe, if we can just tighten this screw, if we can just get a little bit here, if I can just get Joel one day healthier, we're in it for a title. We're built for the long term, and we just got to survive this storm. I do believe that's Nick Nurse, and I think that's everybody in the locker room. So I think the Knicks have every right to be kind of afraid, because you get that sense, if Philly starts to feel it, that the 2 and the 7 seeds are probably reversed, if we're not in the bizarro world of Joel getting hurt and all the weirdness that went on with Philly. In the real world, I think most of us look at Philly like, yeah, they're the natural 2 seed here.
What's interesting is, it's the curse of the conference finals for the Sixers, right? Like, that's their thing. So who do you think the Bucks storm back the way I do?
And they've got health is so important. And the problem is their health lends them to a game that is the reason they're behind.
So So then you'd probably take the Pacers.
I'd like the Pacers by 15, even with Dame, even with him.
So that being said, I mean, are you ever something that bothered me greatly when the Cowboys missed the playoffs in 2017 was your top teams in the NFC that year were the Nick Foles led Eagles and the Case Keenum
It would
led
have been
Vikings.
so easy if we'd have just
that's what I'm saying.
gotten
You're just like, oh my gosh, like if you could have just been competent, you know what I'm saying? Like you could have been in such a great spot. And that being said, I think if you're a Sixers fan, knowing the conference finals bugaboo you have, it's like, dude, if we just get through this, it's the Pacers. Like that's who we have to go. Like, yeah, we'll have a gentleman's sweep loss to the Celtics in the conference finals, but at least we'll get there. You know what I'm saying? Like at least we'll get there, and it'll be a new thing, and we can get rid of that label. But when will it ever be that easy ever again to go through the Pacers to get the 6-seeded Pacers to get to the conference finals?
And one quick thing about the Pacers. If you want to prove your value, I don't know where Pascal Siakam ranks in most people's lists of the best players in the NBA. But if you're putting together a list of the best players in the NBA in the playoffs, Siakam is the heart and soul of that team, and he's only been there 2.5 months. That guy is just a flat-out champion. When things get weird with the Pacers, they look to him. Which I don't know if it's an indictment on whoever's been there the longest there. I know Halliburton's a kid. I don't want to put too much on his plate. And Miles Turner, I don't know who the leader that was there before Pascal got there, but that guy rolled in, sat down, and became the man on that team. Well, it's a testament to him. But they looked to him last night. I couldn't. Every time I watch him play in the playoffs, his game is just perfect for it because he doesn't make mistakes, and he is a killer. He's an assassin that gets kind of lost in the because he's not frightening looking. He's kind of skinny and lean, and he doesn't do the. He's not going to throw down a dunk on you and scream. He's not a guy you kind of see, but you just kind of look up and the guy's got 28 and 7 assists and 2 steals and just had a brilliant drop dime pass to help win the game. And you walk out and who did that? Oh, that was Pascal, the real Kawhi, the real all-around defender.
Wow. Remember when you didn't like the trade for Pascal? You thought it was silly.
Well, I thought I didn't give Pascal the credit that he should have been getting all along. And I always appreciated his skill set. But look at what Toronto had. So now Anunoby is now with the Knicks, and look what the Knicks are doing. And look at Siakam with the Pacers. That Toronto team was so much more than Kawhi. So much more.
That's not the way history remembers it.
I know.
It was just Kawhi. It was only Kawhi.
Kawhi was the savior. He was traded. Remember, we had the OJ.
Danny Green was just there. He didn't help at all.
But no, none of those guys. And you look at
all Van Vliet, he didn't do anything.
Oh, by the way, Kyle Lowry running around out there too.
Did nothing. It was all Kawhi. He controlled the tip and everything against Philly.
Man, it must suck to be a Toronto fan today. I mean, it sucks to watch Derek White, which they're going to close out tonight, by the way.
The Maple Leafs won last night, so I don't know why you're saying it sucks to be a Toronto fan. They beat my Bruins.
Well, if it's the Maple Leafs. I mean, that's enough. Hey, let's talk some Dallas Cowboys. Numbers were a sign. Is there any deeper meaning to the numbers that they did arrive upon? And we're going to hear from your brand new, very old running back. He'll tell you what he thinks of Rico Dowdle and what he prides himself in now that he's back with the Dallas Cowboys. Zeke speaks. We listen next. This is 94.1, and you're on San Antonio's Sports Star. I want to tell you real quick about my Connecticut water softener. I've had Connecticut in every home I've lived in since it's 3 houses now. Never had a problem with anything related with my Connecticut. Ever. In any situation, not one. That is an honest statement. Never had one problem. I'm not saying they don't exist, but in my experience, my Connecticut, I believe the warranty is really good. I've just never had to use it. I'm talking about my Connecticut because it works not only in the city, but out if you got a well, my goodness, it's a godsend because I have I live up on a well. No difference in my water. My pipes are clean. My hair stays nice and moist and soft as my skin. I don't have that white powder on my dishes. There's no shame in pulling a glass out of the cupboard and serving a fine glass of that sweet tea that tastes so good because it came filtered through my Connecticut water softener. You want what I got? It's easy. Write this number down, 656 PURE, 656 PURE. If you'll call that today, my good friends over at Connecticut, the Knippas, will send their best people out, and they're going to put a Connecticut in your home free of charge for the next 90 days. You'll find out what so many of us in San Antonio know, that an American-made Connecticut that you never plug in, that works just on kinetic energy, will save you time, it'll save you salt, it'll save you headaches, it'll save you repairs. Call 656 PURE today. Get a Connecticut in your home. Go to ConnecticutSA.com for all the details. And oh, by the way, sing it while you type it. That's a Connecticut. Call them today. Thank you later.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up on The Blitz, it is a big day. Will McClay with the Dallas Cowboys will join us. We're going to talk draft. We'll talk future. We'll talk all things Dallas Cowboys with Will McClay when he joins us. Not only that, it's Wednesdays with Wade. Wade Phillips, the head coach of the San Antonio Brahmas. He'll join us at 4:35.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. In the process, started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. The ugly truth is when you buy a timeshare, you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. I recently helped a couple that had their maintenance fees go from $800 to $3,200 a year. They also received a $4,000 assessment for a hurricane that was over 1,000 miles away. Sound crazy? The crazy thing is this never ends. Call my office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. Call 800-462-3333. That's 800-462-3333. 800-462-3333.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6580. That's 800-583-6580.
If you're looking for $500,000 to $1 million or more of affordable term life insurance, we're Term Provider, experts in finding affordable term life insurance for those that may not be in perfect health. Prostate cancer, heart conditions, high cholesterol, or on prescription medications, you may still qualify for $500,000 to $1 million or more of affordable term life insurance. Call Term Provider at 800-337-4168. 800-337-4168.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
Just saw something on Facebook. You know, you read something really quick and you go, oh my God, I can't believe I fell for that. A new drug has been developed for lesbians with depression. It's called tricoxagen. Gigi got it.
Where's the white women at?
The John Clay Wolf Show.
Catch the John Clay Wolf Show Saturdays from 9 a.m. to noon right here on San Antonio Sports Star.
It's a mystery where Old Spice finds its amazing scents like Himalayan sea salt, but I'm thrilled they have because no other body wash exfoliates 24/7 like Old Spice Gentleman's Himalayan sea salt body wash. Now, if only there was a mountain range separating the Indian subcontinent from the Tibetan plateau where I could hide my Old Spice and keep my family from stealing it, my impossibly smooth skin will finally be safe.
Listen to 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star on your Amazon or Google smart speaker and just say, Alexa, play 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
I dare you. Say it. Hey, Alexa. How many of your Alexas just lit up? That's RJ. He lights up every time the screen goes toward him. I'm Rob Thompson there on the right-hand side. Thanks for joining the Morning Huddle here on 94.1. San Antonio Sports Star, just the beginning of a full sporting day. Wade Phillips, the current head coach of your San Antonio Brahmas, will join the Blitz today, as will Will McClay, chief in charge of talent acquisition, will join the Blitz and explain his decisions, the guys he liked and the guys that his boss eventually took.
What if the first question that Jason and Joe asked him is like, "Hey, welcome aboard, Will McClay." He's, "Hey guys, great to be with you." So explain yourself.
Just come clean here, real. Just you and I.
What if they just welcomed him in with that hostility? Just explain yourself. You really think you're smart? You really think you made some good picks?
Just who do you think you are? What gives you the right?
Who do you think you are? I am.
You know, we've talked a lot about Zeke, and while he is a player in this large drama, one of the lead actors in the drama to come is CeeDee Lamb. He's going to play a much bigger role than Zeke ever could, even at his best day. And as of now, no extension has been offered. Our good friend Jeff Darlington, he who can balance a pillow on his finger, spin it with the best of them, talked yesterday regarding CD and his imminent, we expect, contract extension.
Well, it really is a matter of, it's not a matter, I should say, of which guy goes first. A lot of times when it comes to quarterbacks, they're sort of waiting for the other guy to set the market. Justin Jefferson's sort of standing on his own in this regard, but CeeDee Lamb is certainly a person that Jerry Jones has made very clear he also wants to re-sign. We know, though, the Cowboys have a lot of business currently on the table, something that is obviously a bit of a problem this offseason for them. But I do anticipate CeeDee Lamb getting his deal done, and Jamar Chase, another player who just got his fifth-year option exercised, also in the midst of contract negotiations themselves. So, again, I know it's easier to say that they're all going to get them done than not, but ultimately all of the general managers for each of these teams have seemingly recognized these are top-tier talents, and they all want to make sure that they stay with their respective teams.
Oh, okay. We recognize that you're exceedingly highly talented, and we want to pay you, just not nearly as much as you want. And he brought up just in passing that Jamar Chase got his fifth, taken, but the extension is imminent. Yeah, okay. Deadlines make deals. What's the deadline for this?
There is no deadline.
Okay, so then no deal will be made. I don't know what you're talking about, Jeff. Well, I'm serious. If I know Jerry, he ain't gonna do anything till he damn well has to, or he gets backed into the corner and he has to do something to calm the crowds, and he'll reach into the cards of who are the guys I love. Oh, this guy. Well, I'll sign him.
I mean, if you're curious, if you just want to know, the deadline for CD would be in like 2 years, just because even if, say, they didn't get a deal done, then they'd reach the offseason and they probably wouldn't get a deal done then. They'd have to franchise tag him. Yeah, and that would be for 2025. And if they didn't get a deal done, so then there would be a deadline. Then they would have until July 15th of next year to get an extension done.
Kind of the same deadline we're facing with Dak? Kind of that kind of deadline?
No, this is exclusive to being franchise tagged.
Oh, after the franchise. I got you.
Right, so if he wasn't, if we're playing out just the timeline, if you're curious, let's say there's no extension for CD, no extension in the offseason, they tag him, so now we're in 2025, they would have until July to get an extension done, and if not, he would have to play the year out on the tag, and if he did, then they'd probably have to tag him again in 2026. There's time.
But am I being outlandish in saying it is that time thing could actually play out and it wouldn't be that big of a surprise? That literally no contract will be offered to CD for years. Like, no contract. You're going to take what's out there. We're going to average and do the 5 and divide and here's what you get. And that'll go on forever until there's another guy we got to franchise, even more importantly.
I mean, I would not be shocked.
It happened to Cousins there with Minnesota for several years, and even at Washington, it just kept happening. So it's not out of the realm of possibilities that CD could not see another contract offer or sign another contract, but have one forced upon him. for the next 3-4 years.
I mean, that's why the franchise tag kind of stinks for players because.
Well, I mean, he's getting paid. He's getting top 5 money. It's not like it's awful. But then he does have the safety net of a guy like Micah, who also could be a candidate for such things.
Well, Micah would be 1 year behind him because he's first round pick the year later. So the Cowboys could drag that out too. By the time they'd be dragging this all out, they'd be up for another Dak extension at the rate they're going. I mean, so this is, I understand Jeff Darlington's point that, everybody wants to wait for the other one to get paid so that they can make more than him. That's why if you're a team, you have to know that. And what's the word we use? You have to godfather him. You have to give him an offer he can't refuse. And then guess what? I know that let's pretend it's your money, Rob. You're the Cowboys, right? And you hook me up or you bring me in, you say, RJ, give me some advice on what to do with the CD thing. And I say, well, you got to give him a godfather offer. You say, that sounds horrible. I don't want to do that, right? I don't want to pay a lot of money. Like I'm going to pay more money than anyone's ever paid. That sounds horrible. I don't want to do that. So this is my counter to you. All right. You've just explained this to me. I said, okay, well, you're going to do that and it's going to suck. But then 5 minutes later, the Vikings are going to give Justin Jefferson more. And 5 minutes after that, the Bengals are going to give Jamar Chase more. And then 5 minutes after that, the Dolphins are going to give Jalen Waddle more. And then 10 minutes after that, the Niners are going to give Brandon Ayuk more. So it's going to suck for like 30 minutes. But after that 30 minutes, you're going to feel great.
Are you? And this is kind of and every situation is different. But if I was asking you on a grand scale, are you the type when we talk Godfather offer? Do you look at the Godfather offer kind of like the way the Kansas City Chiefs gave the Godfather to Pat Mahomes, which was this long, how long was the deal? Like 8 years initially. That first one that he signed, it was long. That the dollar value was like $300 million, whatever that first contract was. That was spread out so long that everybody knew he wasn't going to play that whole thing. Would you be that kind of GM, or would you be the Godfather 2 years, but both of us are out from underneath it fast?
Well, the Cowboys would love to offer CD an 8-year deal.
You're right. The Godfather that 8-year, $400 million, something ridiculous that will never, ever reach fruition. But if it did play out, maybe.
Well, even if it did reach fruition, the reality is, I mean, so let's just live in the terms you made up, right? Just for conversation's sake. 8 years ago was 2016. I don't know what a wide receiver was making in 2016.
It wasn't $20 million, I can tell you that.
That's what and we're at 30 million.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't even 20 million. So if you're CD, there's no way you want to commit yourself to an 8-year deal because you'll be up for a new deal in 4 years. You know what I'm saying? You can get another bite at the apple. At CD's age, this can be one of 2 big time extensions that he gets. So you don't want to compromise your ability to get an even, bigger payday when after more television money comes in and there's more money available to you and the market has gone up even more. And that's the thing with Dak. Just to use him as an actual example of something that really worked out. I mean, the Cowboys had an opportunity first 5 years ago to negotiate with him and they didn't. And then 4 years ago and they didn't. And they finally got it done 3 years ago. But 3 years ago, the going rate was $40 million a year. So imagine if you're Dak Prescott and 3 years ago you had signed an 8-year deal with them. Right now you'd be kicking yourself. You'd be saying, man, I signed for $40 million a year. I could have, if I'd done a shorter deal, I could get $60 million a year. You know what I'm saying? So the Cowboys want their players to sign 6-year or 5-year deals so that they can trap them that way. But and they will, a player will, if you give them a bigger guarantee.
Right.
But the Cowboys don't want to. You have to bend on some, if not most areas. But the Cowboys don't want to because, reasons.
I would function on 2-year, 3-year deals, man. I'll worry about the market later. But I don't ever want to be caught underneath things like that. I'm seeing teams get caught underneath. When you see what Denver got caught underneath because of that Russell deal, I would never sign anybody ever for more than 4 years, ever.
I mean, and for 8 years you do it.
Well, okay, one guy in 10,000 if I happen to get him. But even then, the 4 years is just a lifetime in the NFL. It's just the eons that go on. I have a question before we have to go to break here. What does the offensive line look like today? Are we going to legit have 2 or 3 rookies starting?
I think so. Tyler Guyton at left tackle, Cooper Beebe at center. That's what I want, though, personally. And that's what a lot of people want.
Any of the old dudes, Bass, Richards, Udoga, Ball, Waletzko, any of these guys playing into this?
They could hang out. They could be depth. Anybody's.
Well, depth. But, you changed my attitude about their draft. It was a net zero thing here. They were just filling gaps. This wasn't a look forward to the future. This was just filling holes that I didn't believe were as apparent as they truly were. The more I look at this. And when you see that, you go, oh my gosh, that's a lot of rookies playing.
It's bold. That's the way they wanted it.
We'll continue looking there. Coming back, we're going to look around the NBA, but from a different perspective. It's how you're going to be watching the league in the coming years. That TV agreement is coming up, and that's cool. We like to see new and better stuff, right? Amazon's got football and doing some unique stuff, though streaming offers its own issues. But one of the problems is one of the front runners, NBC Universal. You remember them from the good old days? They're in the lead here, and if they get it, that might mean TNT does not. And that would mean, God forbid, we say goodbye to the halftime crew. What will happen next? Can NBC lure them over? What's the potential for the TV rights deal? And where might you be watching the Wemby-led Spurs win their next title? We'll talk about that, look around the league, and look forward to tonight. No Porzingis for Boston. What does that mean? We're looking at the league next. That's RJ. I'm Rob. Continue looking at us on our YouTube feed. We'll be right back here on the Morning Huddle 94.1, San Antonio Sports Star. I am so excited to talk about my friends over at Tri-County Meat Market because it's hump day, baby, and it's time to start planning for the weekend. We got great weekend of sun and maybe pool weather coming, so you better have the right meat to put on the grill. And boy, Tri-County's got it stacked deep. And as always, they're selling it cheap. Best meat you're going to find. Prime or better, they start. You're looking for a Wagyu, Akaushi, one of those tomahawks that you got to put in your trunk like your Fred Flintstone. They got those. How about a porterhouse steak? If you haven't seen it, it's kind of like a tomahawk without the giant bone coming out the side. They got those too, and if they don't got what you want, they'll cut it for you. I recommend taking a couple days, grab some of their fine chicken and put that on a beer can and do some smoked canned chicken on Saturday, then Sunday. Treat the fam, treat the friends to a big old steak. They'll be on sale this weekend. Head over today. Do not leave either one of their locations without filling a bag with their 5 for $25. And if you're a first responder, go ahead and take 10% off. Thanks for what you're doing for us. 2 locations, Heavener, Ralph Fair, waiting on you. Head out to Tri-County, put some good meat on the grill, and you can thank me later.
94.1 FM, San Antonio Sports Star.
GiveMeTheVin.com is America's best car buyer, paying top dollar for your car, truck, sports car, exotic. What are you waiting for? We want to buy your car right now. Find out why. Thousands of satisfied customers across the United States put more money in their pocket by going to GiveMeTheVin.com. I told my buyers, let's get them bought. Right now is the time to go.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
If you can't sleep because of annoying knee pain, that's a problem. You stop running because your feet always hurt. That's a problem. If your elbow, shoulder, and neck pain make it impossible for you to do your job, that is a problem. And it's time to finally do something about it. I'm Dr. Jason Garrett from Arasti. At Arasti, we fix pain fast. No medications, no injections. Arasti treatment is completely natural and non-invasive. Plus, we accept most insurance plans. There's a location near you. Visit Arasti.com. That's AIRROSTI.com. Arasti, we fix pain fast.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free. With zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit, hims.com/joy.
Over the past decade, the Roo Pub has proven to be the best place to watch games with those 3 massive 170-inch screens and TVs all around. All the games, all the UFC fights, and when you show up at the Roo Pub, show up hungry. The food is fantastic. Open daily at 11. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and certainly the best place to watch a game. The Roo Pub is next to the Angry Elephant and in the same plaza as the Big Blind there at 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roo.
Moments like making my kids my famous meatballs mean a lot to me. But after being diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer, or MBC, which is breast cancer that has spread to other parts of the body, they mean even more. I take Ibrance, palbociclib.
Ibrance 125 milligram tablets with an aromatase inhibitor is for adults with HR-positive, HER2-negative NBC as the first hormonal-based therapy. Ask your doctor about Ibrance and visit Ibrance.com. Ibrance may cause low white blood cell counts that may lead to serious infections. Ibrance may cause severe inflammation of the lungs. Both of these can lead to death. Tell your doctor right away if you have new or worsening symptoms, including trouble breathing, shortness of breath, cough, or chest pain. Before taking Ibrance, tell your doctor if you have fever, chills, or other signs of infection, liver or kidney problems, are or plan to become pregnant, or are breastfeeding. Common side effects include low red blood cell and low platelet counts, infections, tiredness, nausea, sore mouth, abnormalities in liver blood tests, diarrhea, hair thinning or loss, vomiting, rash, and loss of appetite.
94.1. Wake up with the Morning Huddle.
Let's get wild.
It's the Morning Huddle. Gather around. We told you not long ago that in the NCAA, they're going to start getting to wear microphones in their helmets.
What?
Yep. Massive leap forward. They have actually joined the 20th century. Now, we're well past the 20th century, but they joined it in many ways. I told you, we teased this earlier, and it's kind of a sidebar to the sporting world, but it matters to those that really pay attention to the game. And what's enhancing of the game is the guys that talk about it. And when you look at the history of our favorite sports and the annals of time, those guys that brought them to you, brought the games to you, and talked about them before and after really kind of live on in the memory as much as the game itself. And, you know, over the last 20 years, the TNT basketball crew has grown into the best unscripted programming on all of television.
True.
Without hesitation. It is must-watch TV. It is worthy of its time, whether you saw the game or not. That's Shaq and Kenny and Charles and Ernie, the quintessential ringmaster. The best host of anybody who's ever walked the planet. I will stand by that. To do what he does, he's fending off lions every day, and he doesn't even have a whip.
Friend of the show.
Oh, good guy. Yeah, just a phenomenal dude. Well, here's the problem. As the NBA seeks more money, they got to pay Wemby, you know. The TV deals are coming
for
up.
all those Riverwalk parades.
Yeah, we got stuff to pay for, so we're gonna tax the others. We're gonna tax all foreigners living abroad to bring in some more money to keep the things copacetic. And part of that's going to be all the new teams that are the new groups that are bidding. Now ESPN, they got some Disney money behind them. They ain't gonna lose the NBA, but TNT has already kind of glommed on to CBS to kind of help with kind of fund some of their sports coverage, so CBS helps with the college basketball and they help with college basketball. And in the NBA, they kind of go back and forth with ESPN. So the TNT crew, that they've had they're as much of basketball as anything, but they don't have the money that the rest of the bidders have. Like now, Amazon has talked about it. Apple was in play, but they just got that FIFA thing. I think they might have been that new Premier League FIFA tournament thing they just announced. But, it is Apple, and they got more money than just about anybody but Bezos. But then there is an old player that's stepping back into the ring, and that's NBC Universal. And, when the Spurs first won their title, it was an NBC thing. And most of us of an age grew up, NBC was the basketball network. That's where you went to the finals. They were the ones who brought it to us in the 80s and 90s. And, the 80s was CBS. But in the they could step back in. What I'm getting at is it's entirely possible, and in fact probable, if TNT does not get it, that we're going to lose what has been the best panel show in the history of sports. Now, there's others, and I want to rank them right now. And there's the play-by-play crew, which is one thing. But I'm talking panel. Pre-game, post-game, sum-up panel. In sports, I want you to rank them. Because I think that we all agree that the TNT crew is number one. Who would be two? Who would be three? Who would be memorable? And also, I'll put it to you, who's been the worst? Because that's been recent, and I can name a few right now that are as bad that has ever been.
I mean, well, you've really set the bar high.
Well, no, just in your memory, when you think of pre and post, the crews from the different TV networks. So like right now, you got ESPN doing basketball, but you also have TNT. They've got the ESPN crew that does it, and we know Kendrick and Jefferson and all those that do that.
So here's my answer, but my answer is very specific to RJ Ochoa.
Okay,
so
I want that to be yours
because I'm RJ Ochoa. When I was Thursday Night Football in the NFL became a thing in 2006, and it was exclusively at the time an NFL Network thing, and it was that way for a little while before they got into all sorts of other stuff, and they went through a lot, obviously, with Thursday Night Football before the aforementioned Amazon swooped in and took it. But when it was an NFL Network thing, they would send the mainstay NFL Network crew every week, Rich Eisen, Steve Mariucci, and then they would be it was either Marshall Falk or Warren Sapp, Michael Irvin, Kurt Warner, but Rich Eisen and Mooch were kind of the two that were always there. And that happened near the end of my high school time. And on Thursday nights, they were like my friends that I hung out with on Thursday night. I would just watch the games and watch them at home. And so they were a big part of my life. You know what I mean?
You know what? It's interesting that you bring that up because the way that you approach the game very much reflects the tenor of that show. Because when that was first getting started, that Thursday night was a football geek show. It was stat driven. It was coach driven. It was really into the numbers of the game. It wasn't the entertainment stuff now. They weren't buying the bells and whistles. They went and got former NFL guys to talk about their position. And it was really an in the numbers kind of thing. It was the NFL's NFL show. And you approach the game very much like that. I find that very interesting.
There was a sequence. This was a little bit later, maybe 5 or 6 years later. You watched the show Community, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Right. So the woman who played Britta on that show, her name was Gillian Jacobs, or is Gillian Jacobs, and she was on Rich Eisen's podcast back when it was just a podcast before you had the Rich Eisen show, and she was explaining how she did. One day they were filming Community, and Joel McHale, who I think is a big Seahawks fan, they were talking about this, that, whatever, and she was like, I don't understand the concept of downs. She was like, this is why do you call them downs? She was like, why don't you call them chances? That's because that's what I was explaining. That's how they were explaining it. It's like your first chance, to get 10 yards. And she was like, it should be called first chance and 10. And Rich thought this was really funny. And I remember the very next Thursday Night Football game was a Giants game in Carolina. And in for the post game show to come into the post game show with the highlights from the game, Rich Eisen did the highlights and called every down a chance. It was so funny. And again, it was so unique to what Thursday Night Football was at that time.
Right. It was an inside joke amongst the football geeks.
And now those things have become so much bigger, but so for me, it would be the Thursday Night Football crew, the OG, Rich Eisen, Steve Mariucci, et cetera.
See, they didn't even make my list. And that's why I love doing this, because the perspectives are so different. Because I remember when that hit, and I kind of felt like there was this outlaw edge to the NFL. They're just doing stuff. There's not a lot of there, and they're throwing stuff against the wall, and it's a lot of numbers and a lot of stuff, in-depth stats that, quite frankly, unless you're a fantasy football player, it just didn't really feel like it was absolutely necessary.
So who's on your list then?
Well, my number one, of course, TNT. And I'm going to go, number two is also football. Oh, it is football. TNT basketball, number one. Number two is the Fox crew about 10 years ago. The NFL morning Fox crew with Terry and the same crew, but about
Terry, Kurt, Howie,
all those guys 10 years ago. That was really good, informative preparation for a full day. Remember, this is before Red Zone, more than that, 15 years ago, when they were all still in their prime. I will put that as the number two best panel show. Number three, The college game day crew, when Corso was still in his prime, college about 4 years ago, when Corso was still short, crisp passes and all of that stuff, I think the college game day crew has about as much of a familiar interactivity as the TNT crew, but they're just not as bombastic. But man, we all love, if you're a college football fan, game day is just spectacular. And they've done such a good job of creating the collegiate atmosphere and the family fun and just the feel of it. I thought they've been extraordinary for that. After that, I'm going to put this just in there as in the coming Peyton Manning and the Manning cast. I think is the next and the thing that is coming, and we're seeing everybody copy what the Manning cast is in game prep and in game broadcasts.
Now, I think so I recognize my NFL Network thing is extraordinarily niche. I think the game day inside the NBA is number one.
Like, by far, yeah. I think
like everyone's list. Game day is definitely number two. Now, I know that people like to joke about McAfee. What did you call him? His
Highness. No, because he owns the network. That's the only reason. I love McAfee. He's a disruptor. I'm down.
I love McAfee. Like, love him. Game day's become like its own monster now because he's a part of it, right? Like in an amazing
too much
way.
of a part of it. I don't think he's helped.
Okay, but so my point is like it's its own universe now. But like actually my fondest memories of game day, and this is station specific, there was a very, 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 very wise man at this radio station who said we need a Saturday morning show. And so James Pledger and I got together, and the Saturday Morning Hangover was born. And there was nothing like rolling in with some breakfast tacos with game day on the TV and like kind of planning what we were going to talk about. Like, and that was maybe a little bit after the like peak version of game day. But there's just something about that makes every Saturday morning feel epic, with game day. And I don't know that I feel that same way about like your standard, NBA game on TNT because of the Inside the NBA crew. But every Saturday feels like just the most important day of all time because of game day specifically. It has gotten a little bit away from that. And that's not a bad thing. But now it's just like the McAfee solar system that everything kind of orbits throughout.
And I understand why they felt like they needed to add McAfee, because Corso was such a part of that show for so long. And I think a little bit of Herbie's gotten a little bit too self-important, but I think a lot of us thrust him into that place where we wanted a self-important guy to speak above the fray of college sports. And then I think he started doing that. We were like, man, just keep it to yourself, man. Shut up. I think he got to that point. Now he's taking his dog everywhere, kind of bringing him down. So I don't give him the same thing. They're certainly up there. Now, the worst, there's some bad cable prep shows. What about the Amazon outing this year? Do you think, how do you grade? And granted, it's new and they're trying different stuff, and I give them every bit of credit for trying what they've been trying.
I'm going to answer that with this. There is not a pre or post game anything for any sport that I feel like I have to watch. I love Inside the NBA, but it is, like we have so much content in our lives, and I don't mean to get too existential.
No, you're right. Our access is different.
That when the NBA game I want to watch or whatever, or that I'm watching ends, I'm done. And I either want to watch something else or I'm going to go to bed. And I would offer, as somebody who does a Dallas Cowboys post-game show at Blogging the Boys, while I'm not doing this for like a standard NBA game, I do think that like, New York Knicks fan last night is, instead of watching, I know that Inside the NBA doesn't work.
They're doing their own.
The specific, they're going to like their favorite Knicks content creator to watch the show that's created specifically for their vantage point. Same with the Sixers fan or whatever. Like tonight, after the Mavs Clippers game is over, do you think there's a Mavericks? And again, I'm not.
No, I know where you're going with this.
Like people have their like specific avenues and things they go to. Like there's not there's more value, I think, in post game shows. There's not a pregame show that I feel like the Super Bowl Sunday. Did you watch a single pregame show? You had it on. Don't get me wrong, while you were cooking and doing this or whatever. But were you like, man?
The fact of the matter is, because we have access to so much. Now, I will say the live thing that most of the people in my circle, the reason Sunday shows matters, And you can get the same stuff on your feeds, whatever it might be. But the fantasy news of this just in, I can hear it. I don't have to scroll. I think we pay more attention to that now. Now, and with that, before we go on to who I think is the worst, where do you think the Manning cast idea is going? Because that started, and now they're doing it with the women. And we just heard that even an entirely different network in NBC, who's broadcasting the Olympics, is going to do their own version of a kind of a Manning cast whip around kind of thing. Do you like this idea of actually planning our stars, not at halftime, not in pregame and postgame, but actually in the game? Like we're watching them watch the game, the Twitch idea?
The Manning cast was really cool at first. It's gotten a little old.
Mm-hmm.
And what I don't like about it is you're shrinking the game on my TV. I bought my TV because I
you're
want
shrinking
the
the game. The personality is as big as the game. I agree with that.
No, I'm saying like you're literally
you're shrinking it, but
like,
in a whole version of. I'm now viewing the game through the prism of Peyton. I'm not even just watching the game. I'm watching him watch it.
I'm fine with that, but as long keep the game the same size on my TV. Like why that's what I'm saying. Like I'm bothered that they have to be on the screen. Why can't they just it just be their audio that's coming in? Why do you have to like have them visually on the screen? But I'd love the Manning cast as an idea, as a concept. I would love it as a podcast, like a post-game podcast or something like that. What I don't love is how it's contaminated all of sports. I don't need a Manning cast in golf. I don't need a Manning cast in tennis. I don't need all of this stuff. If you want to do it on some alternative channel, fine. But I also, like, the moment ESPN got Troy Aikman and Joe Buck, I was back to the main broadcast because I need the professionals. I need the information that's happening.
That's an entirely different conversation.
Like fun commentary on the side.
The worst, I've got about a minute. It is the Rex Ryan, Randy Moss, ESPN pre. It is literally the worst thing on TV.
Yeah,
I cringe whenever Rex starts talking. I literally cringe. And Moss, I like you, but there's just not a lot of there. Is that a fair? Am I alone in that? 656-3776, probably more appropriate for the Brigade Bar as we're about to head into the sunset on a fine Wednesday. Don't forget, we are just the beginning of a full sporting day. No Porzingis tonight for Boston. We'll see if the lack of a unicorn actually matters after what they did down there in Miami. Can they close it down? And boy, we got us a knife fight between the Clippers and the Mavs. Make a choice. Do you like the Mavs or the Clips tonight?
Took the Mavericks.
I don't know. I'll be happy whoever loses. We'll stick with that. This has been the Morning Huddle. Stay close. Reach out on the socials. RJ, any parting words?
My parting words are that I hope you see a beautiful bird or a butterfly.
What a lovely thought. Go find yourself a butterfly. The Blitz will have Will McClay. We'll see you tomorrow.
What you think?